Hello, everybody. There's another live stream collaboration. I can't believe I'm doing this on a weekly basis or something. I need to, people say I need to take more breaks, but I can't help it. There's too many creators I want to do stuff with. And after doing some of these collaborations, I now want to repeat a few, like, some of my earlier ones. I want to get back on for a second list or a second discussion. So, we'll see how that goes. But thanks for joining us again today. Today I've got Nathan from the Cinemeeple with me today. Say hi, come on.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Oh, that.
Whoever's there.
Yeah, well, we get a few people, but a lot of people
Yeah,
watch these streams after the fact. But we do get a few regulars, like a Fatal Paper Cut and Kabuki Kid, who are already here, who always turn up to a lot of these. And it'll be interesting to see if we get Board Gaming Ramblings here as well, because I know Sunniva mentioned the name when I said I was doing the stream, but I think they're trying to practice Feudum tonight. And if they decide they want to stick with that, that means they won't finish that game until tomorrow morning, I suspect. But as good as the game is. But Cinemeeple is quite new
She's
on
here.
this.
Here.
Hey, she is there. So weird. The deceptively lovely Sunniva. Yeah,
Oh, really? Okay.
don't be our opponent in a Euro game. She will hammer you
really?
down. I wonder if she's beat. She is playing Feudum at the moment. I wonder if I hope you're trouncing Joe there. That's happening. But yeah, Cinemeeple is quite new on the scene. It's only quite a fair few videos though, despite being new on the scene. But the cool thing with some of these, we got rapid reviews, unboxings, and a few other sort of more unique style like questions. But you quite a dab hand with the camera, I've noticed with some of your stuff. You do a lot of B-roll footage with like panning shots and close-ups and that. I mean, just like looking at that part there, it's only showing so much on the preview, but you've got several shots. You've got the darkened room. This is stuff that I haven't got time to do with my videos. So
I don't either.
Well, you clearly do because that's why you're doing them. But it gives you a style. So 312 subscribers, hashtag support creators. By all means, if you like his list, Nathan's list by the end of this video, then go subscribe to his channel, and obviously give all small creators support. So no, I don't want it that big. Get back. But so who have we still got? We have got a Kabuki Kid. We got a Fatal Paper Cut, Kabuki Kid, and Hilmar. Yay, Hilmar. Nice to see you as well. Still looking forward to when I eventually get to go to Iceland. I know that'll happen at some point, but stupid pandemic. But the list we got on there today is Nathan's idea, in fact, actually. But Patreons have suggested a few ideas for lists that I'm going to start circulating from next week onwards. My Gem and Biscuits collaboration next week is actually a Patreon suggested list. Oh, cool. But this one's all Nathan's idea. Top 10 games we want to play but likely won't. So we're saying the word likely in kind of quotes because there's not to say that we will not play these 10 games. There's a chance.
I really want to play them.
Yeah, it's like we want to play them. So if somebody comes to us at a convention and says, hey, Luke, you can come join us for this game, I'll be like, I want to. Yeah. So it's not that it's impossible, unless the game's humongously out of print, then maybe there's a bit more of an issue with that. But other than that, I desire to play them. It's just when I think about the scenario that's going to require that game to be played, there's some obstacles. And spoiler alert, my number one originally was going to be War of the Ring. That was originally my number one game. Big, epic two-player Lord of the Rings game. I thought, I want to play this so bad, but when am I ever going to get the time to do it? Well, it's currently on the table over there because I impulse bought it the other week. Way. So awesome. It's unboxed, and somebody I know knows it as well. So I suspect that come mid-May, when we've got those restrictions left and my cafe opens up, I'm probably going to try and arrange an evening where me and this other bloke's going to be like, all right, can we play War of the Ring? So that one's going to happen, which did kick it off this list. So I had to find a new number one. But, and to be fair, it actually got quite difficult making the list. I had something like 20, 30 games to cull from. And that doesn't happen with a lot of top 10 lists I do. Sometimes I'm like, I can just about do 10 or I can do 15. I'll just cut a few out. But this time I was just like, damn, I'm possessed.
I just had to stop.
There's apparently a lot of games I've played, but there's apparently a lot I still want to. How did you find it?
So I've had this list for quite a long time because like a few years ago, like I wrote some things for Zatu, and I was like, I might do that as a list, but I never got around to it. But because we had kids a few years ago and our friends had kids, And then I was like, oh man, there's all these games that I'd love to play, but nobody will
Kids
play them with
equals
me.
no
I'm
more
like,
games. That's the way it works. Yes.
yeah, like no daytime gaming stuff.
No
But yeah,
fun.
so like,
There's no no fun
I
period.
mean, it's the best thing ever. But yes, so for me, I I found this. I just had to stop once I kind of got a list. I'm sure there's loads that they could even be higher than what I have on the list. But like I was like, these are ones I know for sure I'd love to play, but I likely won't unless somebody is
At a convention
So
that
I don't
shows
know.
you.
Yeah.
Maybe
Which
I'll
would be
have to
so
take
cool.
I'll have to take note then the next time we end up at a UK convention together and say like, all right,
Definitely.
what did Nathan want to play? Well,
Yeah.
grab this and grab this.
Yeah.
Make sure I get that in the bag. But yeah,
Yeah.
kids usually equals no more games or fun or anything else.
I mean,
So-
it is the
so-
most. It's the most fun thing ever having kids. But
I'll
the
take your
gaming
word for
does
it. I'm not an
start a lot.
expert.
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah. But
Not my thing. So, but
yeah.
it's not that I hate kids. I just like holidays
No,
a
of
lot
course.
more. So it's that's
Yeah.
kind of the way it works. But yeah.
Yeah.
So without further ado, let's get on with it and see, because I'm very interested
Yeah.
to see where your where your list derives from. So starting with tens. And as always, everyone, just let us know if the audio is bad at any point. I think it's pretty good so far. So, like I say, just let us know if anything's out of line. But otherwise, get started. Nathan, you're the guest, so you go first.
I go first. Okay. So this is a game that I know that you don't like. Okay.
Well, that doesn't
And
narrow it down.
I know, but you really, really don't like this game. And so this is the biggest game, I guess, out there. Gloomhaven is my number 10. And I'm right. Hear me out.
It's
So
a
for
fitting
me,
one for the list, I'll give you that, though.
exactly. Yeah. So for me, like, I think it looks really cool, personally, from what I've heard about it. Like dungeon crawly, kind of working together, and like, I think it sounds like a really epic game. Obviously, you can play it forever. So many different scenarios and everything, but it's so massive, and it's expensive. So for me, like, I'm like, okay, like if I want to buy a game, I could get a few different games for the price that I could get Gloomhaven for.
Yeah,
And
just
then
a few.
also, yeah. But then also, I'd have to find people who would want to play Gloomhaven with me, and I don't have like lots of gamery game friends, sadly. So I just don't have lots of people who I could play it with. But
Yeah,
I
I
would
mean,
love, if I ever get the chance to. But at the same time, even at a convention, you're not going to get the full experience.
no, you
So
wouldn't play this at a convention. But I mean, have you just considered well, I suppose the kid problem again is like, have you considered getting it just for solo? Because a lot of people do just play it solo.
yeah, I mean, again, like I imagine, like, so of an evening as well, like after putting the kids to bed, tidying up everything, I've
You'll be
got like
tired.
an hour or two. Yeah, I'm tired. I've usually kind of taken a little doze while I'm putting my boy to bed, and
And
yeah,
if
to
you've only
set,
got an hour,
a lot to
by
set.
the time that hour is just to set the game up. You haven't got time to play it
Exactly.
then.
Yeah, no, totally, absolutely.
Nah,
So I know that obviously it's a very well loved game, and I do think sometimes things are well loved for a reason. Um,
oh yeah, I
but
mean,
yeah,
I don't like it, but I'm not going to put anyone else off playing it. And to be
yeah.
fair, I'm not surprised it's on your list, because I think this is actually quite a good one for a list like this. But I'm quite surprised it's only your 10 on that basis. So I'll be interested to see what ranked above it. But there's certainly, I mean, like I say, a lot of people are more fans of it than I am. Although
yeah.
one thing that instantly popped to mind, and Yogi Bear has reiterated this. Have you heard of Jaws of the Lion?
I have, and see, so for me as well, I thought, okay, like that.
Maybe you
When I
might want to
saw it, and I
consider that
thought,
one.
it's cheaper. Yeah, it's cheaper. It's a nice intro. So it's definitely crossed my mind, and it's something that if I get the chance to, I will pick it up. But I feel like it's still not going to be. It isn't the huge, epic Gloomhaven potentially, but like it's definitely it's on my mind. It's on my list of games to buy one day.
As much as I don't like it, I would recommend that if you want to try this game, then maybe give Jaws of the Lion, because Jaws of the Lion is basically Gloomhaven smaller. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But the fact that it is smaller and quicker and easier to get into makes it perfect for you to jump in as a testing point. And you might find that won't take as much time to like invest in so much, and you might be able to squeeze it in. So maybe this isn't entirely out of your reach. And sorry, Wizardo, I refuse to accept that Jaws of the Lion gets to number 2. Well, it's like the Through the Ages. It's like Through the Ages. It's got 2nd edition and 3rd edition, and Twilight edition Twilight Imperium, 3rd edition, 4th edition, as separate numbers in the list. And it's like, I'm sorry, if they're the same game, don't give them separate entries. Brass is another one. I can't wait for Frosthaven to suddenly be the next new number 1, because as long as it's got,
be there, isn't it?
As long as it's got the word Haven in the title, that's all you need, really, I think. But man, this is
some of us mentioned it.
That's because of that. I mean, here we go. Yeah, Gloomhaven's amazing, worth the time and money, but Frosthaven is all you're going to need. Well, I don't know. Pick a haven. It's just, do you want brown and red or blue and white? Pick that. It's basically Gloomhaven is going the Pokemon route. It's not Pokemon Silver and Gold. Now it's Gloomhaven Red and Gloomhaven Blue. So it's basically that. Pick which one you want and go with it, I say. But, if we're going to do a Frost anything this year, I'm going Frostpunk. That's what I want. But, okay, fair enough. But, good for the list, though. We'll give it that.
There you go.
So, my number 10. This one has kind of squeaked on in the sense because there's a chance I will play this, but it's hard to get, it's impossible to get hold of at the moment, particularly in the UK. Anytime you try to find stock of it as pre-order, it's probably already sold out on pre-order. I don't know if I'll like it because I really don't care about the theme to this game in any way, shape, or form, but I want to... we'll take off your 10 banner there. But I want to try Obsession purely for the fact that I want everybody on Facebook to just shut up about it. Because everybody is going on about this game. Like, it is a literal obsession with everybody playing this game. And, I mean, I will play it. I will give it a fair shake. If by some miracle it ends up in front of me, because I don't know how I'm ever going to see a copy of it. But all everybody keeps going on about is this game. And I don't remember Downton Abbey being the most popular show ever.
Because
certainly I ate it, but this whole thing of like the Pride and Prejudice scene, I mean, it looks authentic. The mechanics sound okay, but there's nothing about it that's screaming that this should be one of the best games of the year. But I will try it. I'd give it a fair shake. But the problem is I have a history with Pride and Prejudice, and it's not a good one. So, in English GCSEs, we were only allowed... We didn't get to choose what we learned for English GCSEs. We had to basically do the set thing depending on whether you were A class, B class. And I was in A class because I was good at English language. Strange how that went, considering I had a speaking disorder, but never mind. But we had of Mice and Men, which I was bored with. We had Inspector Calls, which was okay, at least it was short. But we had to go through, not only read the book of Pride and Prejudice, we had to sit through the 6-hour monstrosity movie with Colin Firth and all that lot in it. A VHS thing. Yeah, it was like the extended TV series with Colin Firth. Yeah. We had to watch all of that, as well as read the entire book. By the end of every day of English lesson, I wanted to kill myself. I literally was done with that book. I hated it. And so this game coming out, that's basically Pride and Prejudice, the board game, is like, I don't know. But like I say, I sound like this isn't a game I want to play. I want to play it just because everybody's hyping it to like craziness levels. So that alone is making me want to try it. But I'm not exactly going into this thinking... best game ever. I'm going to temper my expectations a little bit. So, and Lydian, you're right. Sorry, say.
Go on. See, I agree with you. Like, for me, like the theme, I've never liked Pride and Prejudice. Like, for me, period dramas, like English period dramas, they've never ever appealed to me at all. I've never enjoyed them. So that, for me, that's the exact reason why I've looked at that and been like, that's probably not for me, just because of the theme alone. But if it plays well, then obviously...
Who knows with that? I don't know how it is in America, but I mean, in our school, we split up English language and English literature as 2 parts of English. So English language would be more your grammar, your spelling, and stuff like that, whereas literature was literally literature. So I was much better with the language, and I much more enjoyed the language than I did the literature side.
Same.
And I like this actually. This sort of childhood trauma is great justification. It is basically that.
And putting it,
Yeah, and I mean, sort of sums it up here, actually. Haven't played it, but people keep telling me I should. That's why it's on the list, That's why it's squeaked on as 10. It's like, I will believe the hype when I see it, but could people on Facebook just shut up about it already? I'll play it when I'm ready. Because everyone's just on about it. Oh, well, let's say we got some more cheerful 9s, I think. Carry on.
Okay, for me, like, I forget what I've written on here. So
That's
so for
not
me,
good.
right? So I know for
I
me,
don't
like,
have
so
your list,
number.
remember? I typed this out on the
I
fly, so
know.
if you forget it, we're screwed.
But, so like this is like so I have the base game for this. So number 9 is Everdell. I have Everdell, but it's all of the expansions. I've not played a single expansion to Everdell, and
Okay.
I don't know. Like I would love to play all of them, but like I'm not a Kickstarter. I don't really do Kickstarter. So like obviously you get all the good, really good stuff on there, but it's just not something that I invest in. But I think they look really cool. But I'm quite happy with Everdell as it is. Like like just me and my wife sitting down having a game of it, or with just a couple of friends as well. Like it's kind of enough of a game for me. But like in particular, it's Spirecrest. I think it is like the one kind of makes it more of like an adventure, like you kind of adventuring down like into the mountains and things like that. Really, really, really appeals to me, and I would love to play it, but I don't see myself getting them. Like if I'm honest.
Yeah,
So for
I'm in
me,
a similar situation as you in the sense that I have played Everdell because friends of mine have it. I like it. I don't love it, but I do like it fine. But there's so many people in that I know who have it. I know I'll get it played. But I've only played the first expansion, Probrook, and I didn't think it was a good expansion. It kind of
yeah, I don't hear
unbalanced
good
a
things
few
about it.
things, and it doesn't really add much. But I'm in the same boat as you, is that I want to try the other expansions. But I
Yeah.
know at some point I will. That's why it wouldn't make my list, because I know that at some point, because I have friends who have this game and have invested in that Kickstarter and that,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get to try these expansions at some stage. And I do want to try Spirecrest first, because I reckon
Yeah,
that
yeah.
plus the base will probably be my perfect setting. Most of these expansions aren't compatible with each other, which is a really dumb
No.
move by publishers. I hate it when they do that. But, we got the new ones there. One of them, I mean, I'm a little bit more skeptical about this New Leaf one because, anytime
Put a
you put
train on it.
you put a trade in it, it's like this better not have shares, So I'm worried, but nah, I think it's just there as a setting. But yeah, anytime I see a train on the cover, it's like, oh god, now what are you doing?
But it looks
Yeah.
cool though. Look at that. I think that looks really cool. Like
Oh yeah, nothing
again,
against
I'm
the
like, oh, I'd
looks.
love to play it, but
I
yeah,
reckon that's what I mean. I reckon I'm gonna get these played. It's just a case of wait for the Kickstarter to fulfill, get a friend round at a club or go around the house or something and say, "Come on, show me these Everdell expansions. I want to see what they're like." Because as much as I wasn't a fan of Pearlbrook, I know that there's going to be at least one, maybe two expansions that I will like.
yeah,
That
yeah,
spider one I'd like to play just because I want
yeah,
to kill all spiders, but I can't see myself buying the game just to have a solo add-on for it. That's
yeah,
not the way I would go about it. But no, I mean, most people kind of agree on that. Each expansion introduces its own spin. The exception is Belfair, which is included all the time. So, like I say, you wouldn't even include all the expansions at once because it's just overwhelming at that point.
yeah,
So I
absolutely.
don't know where, but most people would, I mean, I would.
Okay, more, yeah,
I'm
more with the expansion.
well. This is the thing. I'm kind of burnt out on Emmerdale base set alone. I need these expansions to see if
Right,
it's
yeah, yeah,
any good there. I get what you mean. If you allow expansions, this is
yeah.
easier. I mean, this is like I
I
say,
can take
Nathan.
it out.
No, no, no. I don't think he's like having to go at you for that. But say Nathan can do what he likes with his list or something. I haven't done expansions personally, but it's not invalid. I mean, if it's something you want to play and for whatever reason you
Yeah,
can't, it fits the description. So I'll go with it. That's great. This New Leaf expansion looks like Animal Crossing New Leaf
yeah.
because
Which
I've
is,
not
I don't
played
know.
those. Oh, I haven't played those games, but yeah, didn't you have to go from
I
village
played
to
it a
village
little.
or something?
Yeah, I couldn't get into it. I got it on the DS years ago, and I was like, it was nice, but then I was like, okay, but what else is gonna happen?
I
So
just
yeah,
remember people
it
at
was fine.
uni, my friends at uni just played it and using up the GameCube for ages. And it's like, for crying out loud, we could play like Mario Kart or some like really cool
Yeah,
Smash
no.
Brothers that we were obsessed
Yep.
with. And it's like, could you stop wasting 7 hours of your day on this, like, build a village, go to the post office and get your mail or something, whatever it was. I didn't quite get the hype with it. So that was mad. And sorry,
Insane.
Kabuki Kid, you are wrong. I saved them and
Save and
released them
release them.
outside. I mean,
To be fair,
it's like,
I do that as well.
how could I edit this comment? It's like, I hate spiders. I kill them and release them down plug holes. I don't know. I hate spiders. I'm scared of them. I don't like them. There's no way that I'm sort of going, oh, really? Wow. Occasionally you catch me in a good mood and it's out of my way and I'm like, you get to live today, you're fine. It's like, it's not like I go hunt them down or anything. It's just like, if it's in the corner or it's like somewhere else, I'm like, fine, can't be bothered, fight. It's like, you got to catch me in the right state, but I just hate spiders, not for me. Okay, but let's see if there's no spiders on my next one. Oh god, yeah, it's a complete opposite. Now, this is a big, heavy Euro game, and I don't know anybody who owns it. I don't even think it's in print anymore. The main reason I'm kind of interested to do it is just because it's alcohol themed, and I guess whether that says something about me, I don't know. But I've already got like viticulture for wine. There's not really anything out there for cider and that, but there are the occasional beer games out there. And for me, where's my thing? Brew Crafters is one that's kind of got my interest, you know, for the theme of it being brewing beer. No, that's just, I don't think that's the box. I think they just put the beer next to it now, but it's supposedly a really heavy Euro, and I don't know a huge amount about it apart from just the occasional sort of blurb I've seen, but it goes through a lot of the process of like, right, choose a beer, get it brewed, tweak it in the lab, sell it off, you know, make a profit. It's meant to be a very tight, heavy game. I mean, you've even got like tasting room and the brew pub and stuff. So this is like everything about a brewery, like your local restaurant that happens to have a brewery system in the back of it. You know, I like those places. And you're effectively, supposedly running it. And the theme alone and the fact that it's quite a thinky Euro appeals to me already. What worries me slightly is that it's one of those games where I think you've only got like 12 turns and that's it. Like, like, how long does this game have to be on the basis that you only get 12 turns? So it means that every action's important, but I hope that doesn't mean I'm playing this game for 3 hours and I'm only engaged for an hour. That's what I'm a little worried about. But, you know, I would like more games to be alcohol themed just because, well, who doesn't like a drink every now and again? Yeah, this one, oh, this looks like horrible prototype. Oh, yeah, this is prototype. So let's get back on actual artwork.
What's the mechanisms of it?
I think I'm trying to remember, actually. It has been a while since I've looked in it. It's, honours the tradition of classic Euro games such as Agricola and Puerto Rico.
Worker placement.
Replay, worker placement, resource management. So, yeah, you got to get like malt, yeast, fruit and spices, get them in the market while also sort of, you know, making the beer as good as you can. As I say, my knowledge on it is a little limited, hence it's lower on the list. But every time I've sort of heard of this game mentioned, I'm like, I'll give that a try, actually. You know, this could be pretty sweet. A heavy game about beer. I've already got a medium game about wine. I've got a heavy game about wine. I could do with something about a different other beverage, shall we say. That's kind of my way of going for it. But I don't know if it would, like I say, lower down on the list. But, you know, the theme alone is kind of like, maybe I could go with it.
Yeah, definitely. Like Fatal Papercut said, crafticulture. Pretty neat name.
Craft it. I'm not sure that'll have the same ring to it though.
Not quite.
That's a word of that one. Nah, I mean, I don't know what else you would call this one. I mean, to be honest, if I wish it actually had that case that we had originally, that picture.
Yeah, that'd be like a.
I wish that was actually it, because even if I didn't like the game, then I'd at least get some beer out of it. Even though, although I gotta admit, I'm a cider drinker and a wine drinker. I do drink some beers, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. Most of the time I'm drinking beer just because it's cheap booze. But but I've got friends of mine who are much.
Cider used to be the cheap stuff.
Well, that's only because these days they're butchering cider with all this forest fruit and toffee apple flavor rubbish. No, if you know proper scrumpy apple, perry, pear, you know proper cider that Somerset way, you're doing well. But they've cheesed it up now. The beers, I just haven't got into them as much unless I go abroad. If I go abroad, then because they've never heard of cider abroad and I can't always get a wine, I'm drinking all the foreign beers and preferring them. If I've been to Germany for Essen and that, I'll drink their beer. And anywhere else I go to, I'd want to try their beer because I don't know what other alcohol they would have apart from wine, really. I hear the States do cider though, but I don't know whether I can trust the States to do cider well. But if I ever do end up in America again, the first thing I'll be doing is trying to find one, so it might happen. All right, under 8.
All right. Okay, so my number 8 is Nemesis. And
Ooh, good
so for
one, yeah.
me, yeah, so like in a way I feel like I should have put it higher really, like, but so like I really love Alien. So I love the theme, and I really enjoyed Alien Isolation. I played that with a friend recently.
That's such a
And
good
it's
PC
such
game.
a good game. Oh man, we just took it in turns. Like we were happy to sit taking it in turns. We played it on nightmare mode and like completed it, and it was epic. But like this kind of feels like you could kind of capture that in a board game. You know, you kind of, and I know some people don't like semi co-op kind of stuff, but I really enjoy it. I really enjoy the kind of the balance that you need to strike when you're, say, like in Dead of Winter. I really like being kind of working with people, but at the same time, like if I'm the betrayer, I quite like trying to navigate that in a way kind of to make it kind of work for as long as you can, and then obviously kind of veering off. And I really like the idea of kind of with this, you're working together to a certain extent, but then actually you can't necessarily trust everyone. And I imagine you may start off, you know, not being impregnated by an alien, and then...
Sorry, that made me laugh. There's a dark nemesis.
Brilliant. But yeah, I mean, look, it just looks epic. Like I'd love to just play this game. But like, so it's the reason I probably will never play it is because it's so expensive. You know, and like for me again, my budget is like, you know, £40 every couple of months kind of thing. So like, you know, to get this, and it seemed really hard to get for a long time as well. It may even be hard to get now.
You can get a little bit on retail, but it is mainly the Kickstarter thing. I should know because, might have indulged a bit on the last one, but I mean,
really? Nice.
I've played the base set alone and I enjoy it, but the problem I've had with the game is how long it takes. Like it takes it takes too long for what it is. And I didn't find that researching aliens was worth it. I found I ended up doing other stuff, but I always still enjoyed it because, again, like you, aliens is cool, and I love the theme of this game, and it perfectly does it. So, for reasons unknown, I actually bought everything on the recent lockdown Kickstarter, like including the older stuff, which were the first wave we're getting in the next month, and that's all this content. Lockdown's going to come on a separate one, which is kind of closer to Doom, I would say, than Alien, but either way, still good. But I want to try this out more when I can choose who I'm playing with, because the fact that it's taken too long at times is usually because there's been at least one or two slow players in there, and I'm thinking, look, if I just play this with people who know what they're doing, this should be pretty sweet. And I think it's next month, Yogi. Don't quote me on that, but I thought it was happening soon. I thought it was happening soon. But I also know that this is getting an updated solo mode. So this one is going to have like an app-driven solo mode, and so is Lockdown. And it's like, ooh, if they can nail the solo mode, I would love to play the solo.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of gambling a bit on this. It was kind of a late birthday present to myself to go, right, let's just put a ton of money into this last year. But yeah, like I say, even if I don't get all of it, everything I need out of it, it's not like it'd be difficult to sell it. So it's
absolutely, yeah.
You know, I'd get my money back easily enough that I make on the Kickstarter. But I'm hoping that this will sing to me. But yeah, perfect example. I mean, big, massive, expensive. It's not going to be one that you're going to get to play unless you seek it out.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which
I'd love to play it.
That's a pretty good deal, though. Kickstarter all in of the original, including expansions terrain at €60. Yeah, you better hide, mate, because I mean, if I hadn't already been expecting my Kickstarter, I'd be hunting you down for a deal like that. €60 is insane.
That is amazing.
I like the on one there. I don't know what you mean by the comic solo. Are you talking about the solo mode that's currently in Nemesis? I don't know because I have not actually tried it, but I mean, if it's good, maybe, but I want to try the app version because I like it when apps get integrated in games. Blimey, somebody's got a weird version there, but most of the pictures here is just everybody having fun with the painting models. I ain't got time to paint, nor do I have the skill.
I don't have the skill,
no. That model looks perfectly good to me. I'm happy to leave them unpainted. I don't have the skill or time. There was a time when I was into Warhammer, and even then I didn't paint the models. I'm just not good at it. So know your weaknesses.
I'm not either.
Alrighty. My number 8 is, funny enough, we're talking about expensive games that are, full of miniatures and that. And I wonder who did Nemesis? It was Awakened Realms, wasn't it?
I think so.
I've got a feeling that I think it's Awakened Realms that did it. In which case, this is from the same publisher, I think. It's strange how that happened. Is Awakened Realms. So yeah, we've got the same publishers as our number 8s.
Oh really?
Mine is another game that's all about giant miniatures called Lords of Hellas. I have yet to play this game, but I really want to, even though I have heard some dubious things about the game balance. Like one thing is too powerful compared to the rest or easier to do than the rest. But this is one of those games that's impossible to get hold of unless you are willing to spend like £200+ on getting it all. And this seems like too much of a gamble. Like, I've got a feeling I should get into Nemesis if I just give it more chances. This one would be a complete gamble without any other context, and I just don't know if I'm willing to splash out the money on that. So I have to wait for someone probably at a convention to say, Luke, here's Lords of Hellas, you want to join in? And so, funny enough, literally just appearing as I have it on my shelf, yet another reason to come over. We are seriously going to have to sort this out, Hilbert, at some point. You know, we're eventually foreign travel is going to be allowed again. We're going to have to sort out a trip to Iceland or something, because he's saying that he'll put me up, or I'll get a hotel, or he'll put me up or something. Even though the convention's delayed till next year, Midgard is like, he just says, come to Iceland, I'll show you around. And it's like, I can't think of anything I wouldn't rather do in the summer than go to Iceland and look around, because I just want to visit there so much, so I'd certainly be up for that. And like I say, on top of seeing Iceland and trying all the food and drink, I get to play board games. It's a win-win situation there. But Lords of Hellas, I should actually mention the game itself. It's basically kind of like a mix of fantasy and sci-fi. Giant models, you've got like building temples, you've got killing monsters, but you assemble these multi-part miniatures that are just ridiculously gorgeous looking. Like Awakened Realms just knocks it out of the park there, all to scale. But it's got all the asymmetric play, so you've got all the different statistics of your guy that you can level up, and whether you're going to go down the monument route or slaying monsters or getting controlling areas and that, it's up to you. So everybody's doing a different win condition. But I've just heard that the balance is a little bit off, and that's what slightly put me off wanting to buy it. But this is definitely, I think now as we get to 8 onwards, these are games like, seriously, show me this. I desperately want to try these ones out. So yeah, big, expensive for the models, and 2 of us with 2 Awakened Realms games on the same list. I wonder if we're going to get that again. I'll be curious actually if we got any crossover. I can't think we would.
I doubt it.
I must admit,
I know you've played mostly. Like, obviously, I've watched you for years, so like I know that some of the games on my list
you poor soul
behind you right now. But they may be sitting behind you right now. But are they?
I'll make a note. Well, some of these games I can imagine, if they're big, massive euros.
Two of them actually were going to be on. There you go. You wanted one that was going to be on, but it's not.
I was about to say this better be on your list.
Oh really? Well, it's on my phone here. But like I was like, I'll just shift it out because I thought maybe one day I could play. Like if you're around with it, then
if I'm around and you're going to be around, I'm bringing Empires of the Void. The space game of choice. I'm sorry, Twilight Imperium fans, but it's the space game.
Because of what you said about it. Like I remember you kind of just saying how great it is. So that's like why it was in my mind. Yeah,
love that game. Alrighty, on to 7. So really something a bit smaller, but I don't know. That's kind of the theme with a lot of these. The bigger they are, the harder it is to get them played.
Okay.
Going on to there. We got anyone new in there? Victory BHG has turned up. Hello, and of course Hexy Beast.
Hexy Beast is here.
Yeah, we know Hexy. Well, say fellow Brits, so we're always good on that. And Hexy Beast was on a couple of weeks ago where we were doing solo mode, so by all means check out that one as well. Kabuki mentions Space Empires 4X, and I know of that game. And I would play it. I mean, I'll try any game once. But when I look at it, it's like, it's because I think it's GMT who did it. I can't remember, or them or someone else did it. And it's just like, ew, it's a black map with dots and lots of chits everywhere. And it's just like, ugh. It may be a good game, but I wouldn't want to look at it. It's got no. It's the production opposite of something like Empires of the Void. It's like I just don't know if I would. Go for it as much. But I say I would play any Space 4X game just because I like Space 4X games. So yeah, it's going to be one of those. I can't remember what the other one was. Was it Space Empires 2849? No, that's Pulsar. But there's something else that I think GMT did, which was another, like, it was a random luck fest, but you played it in 3 eras. So you started off leaving Earth and going to the moon, and then you went from moon to the outer solar system, and then you went into deep space. And it was a cool concept.
Cool.
I played it at one of Paul Grogan's events, and it was okay, but it was like 4 hours of rolling dice and luck fest, and it's like, oh, not quite as good as I was hoping it was. But the Space Corp, that's the one, Space Corp, and
okay, cool.
like I said, it was a good one. Anyway, you're 7. We're getting sidetracked.
Oh yeah, my 7. Okay, so my 7 is a classic negotiation game in space.
I've got a theory.
Very, and that is Cosmic Encounters.
Yes. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cosmic Encounter, as I look straight at it, yes.
Oh man. So this is one I've wanted to play for a long time. So like, one reason why I probably will never play it is because I've almost given up hope that I will get to play it, because I've wanted to for so long. But like, again, like I'd love to see what the dynamics are like of actually negotiating, kind of thing. Trying to, because from what I think, it's you're trying to kind of have certain number of your pieces on other people's parts of your colonies on other people's whatever their areas, planets. So it must like to try and negotiate that kind of thing, to kind of to having 5, taking control, having on five of them or something. I don't know, but
you're basically trying to have 5 foreign colonies in order to win.
Yeah, so like the dynamics there, I think, would be really fun. But I know that if I was to play it with my friends, I'd like to have to buy it. But then, like, I think it's minimum 3 players as well. So because generally I like to get.
Don't play it with 3. I mean, this is
goes. I mean, like it goes. The box, like.
I think it says on the box 3 to 5. Play it with. You could possibly get me to play it with 4, but honestly, play it with 5, and then the expansions add in more players. I mean, 5 player. This is about as ideal as you can get. 4 is fine. 6 is pretty good as well. 7 and 8, it's epic length at that point. But I can't imagine why you would play this with 3.
Yeah. So for me, like, I can't imagine I'd be able to get 5 people who have like the time, or like would be that interested like in it. Really, I have like some friends who probably would, but again, like other games may just kind of come above it for them and stuff. So like, it's just one of those things where I want to play this game so much, but I'm kind of prepared to accept that I may never play it.
This one would be an easier one though, because if we're going to the same convention, I would probably want to pack this in the bag, because this game I don't get to play very often with people I know, even though half of that is just because I got to play so many games. But at a convention, Cosmic Encounter is one of the ones that I'm tempted to bring, because I've got a bunch of expansions for it, and it is just one of those fun negotiation games that I love it. And at a convention is the perfect time to play it, because then us 2 and 3 others could get into it, and we don't know each other well enough in games, so suddenly the line aspect becomes even more prominent. It's a solid one. So this one might be one of the easier ones on your list to show at some point in the future. We shall see.
My hope is that I will get to play all of these games after doing this video. If I get to play them all
tomorrow, somebody's going to come around your house with all 10 of them. It's just like, right, cancel your schedule.
Absolutely,
Fun bit I love with this, actually, some of us mentioned it. Funny enough, when we were discussing the audio and all that, like sorting ourselves out before this, first thing he mentions is looking at his dodgy curtains. So, it's like...
They're awful.
Not everybody has games behind them, that they can look at. Anyway, I don't know if Cinema can really talk in this instance, because for a lot of the time, they just have black void behind them. So
I don't mind the black. I quite like the black.
It looks good. It looks good on camera because you've got the contrast that the 2 of them lit up and the back thing. It works, but you can't mock the background of curtains when you don't have a background.
We're in a rented bungalow, so like my kids are like literally just through there, like through the wall. So I'm like, I've just tried to get myself as far away from them as I can, so I don't wake them up. And sadly, these have to be behind me then, and these pipes as well. I mean,
your head's covering that. Nobody cares what's in the background in that. I mean, you can do a poll saying, it's like, what would you rather look at? It's like bad curtains or bad games? Because a lot of people watching my videos probably don't like half of what's behind my head, but that tends to happen. All right, but no, that's a cool one. But we will have to try and sort this one out at a convention, because I'm sure that's got to be an easy one to get to.
Honestly, if I could play that, it'd be brilliant.
Okay, right. My number 7, and we are this is weird. We just had
Oh,
two
yeah?
that were from the same publisher. We've now got two of the same theme, in a sense. We've
Okay,
just
cool.
had a space negotiation game, and now I've got a space negotiation game. This is kind of
Oh,
weird,
wow.
actually. I'm slightly scared. This one, the only way I'm going to get a chance to play this is if somebody actually like shows me it at a convention, because there's no way it's going to happen either way. But the problem is, the only person I know who's got it probably won't want to play it with me because we're not on the best of speaking terms, I'll admit. It's just somebody I know at a club. But,
Oh,
but in order to play this, we're going to need a lot of players. I'm going to need teaching the full rules because I know nothing about how to play this game. And it's a full-on negotiation game, which means I want people in a big group. And that is something called I don't know, Sidereal Confluence. I don't know, it's a stupid name for the game, but it is a gigantic space negotiation game, but not the most thematic one in the world, it must be said. Because with this one, I thought, oh yeah, this is... Because part of me is a little bit concerned, because it is basically just trade cubes, get techs, and that's it. In terms of the theme, it's like, whoopee, it could be any theme because it's mainly going after different color cubes. But the theme of space negotiation with different alien races and all these technologies that you can get, I kind of just like, it's appealing to me. I want to try this out for the experience, because
that was
I
cool.
can inject theme into a lot of games, and I know I would find a way to get into this one. And even though yes, I'm just trading brown cylinder for grey cube and all this nonsense, I'd make fun out of the techs I've got and what alien race I am and that. And I like negotiation games, so already this is like on my level because I like the big negotiation games. But there's no way I'm gonna buy this and test it out at my game club. It'd just be too much, I think. And so it's really going to be a convention, and somebody else is going to have to teach me. And who's that going to be? I don't know anyone else who owns the game that I'm on speaking terms with, and so that kind of helps, or has the sort of patience to teach it outside of
It could be
convention.
really interesting though. The negotiation could be really heated. Like it could be really interesting to watch.
Oh yeah, it's like trading with him, and it's just like it's like it's like it's like, oh, so we'll make this deal. This will be good. Yeah, it's like yeah, this is really good. Sure. It's like, yeah, but
It'd be great.
yeah. So I don't know whether I'll like it or not, just because it is a cube trading game. But space, aliens, negotiation, it's already on there. But yeah, certainly the likelihood of me playing this is somewhat limited. In fact, this probably wouldn't have even been on the list if it was the first edition. It's only because this remastered one has come out, which looks a bit better in terms of production quality, that has kind of tweaked my interest a bit, even though you are still stuck with cubes. But who knows? It could be a big one. And apparently, was it Sidereal? Sidereal. Okay, fine. But publishers, just name your games with words that people could easily say. I mean, wouldn't that make more sense? Was there anything else we could call this that's a bit easier? I don't know, but as I say, certainly if it turns up at a convention, I'll be up for it. Does it sound up your street?
Yeah, it sounds really cool. Yeah, again, like negotiation, I think like that's where the game is. I guess like with the cubes, like it doesn't matter so much what it looks like as much, because the fun is in the interaction that's going on, isn't it? Like, so like you're really focusing on that, and if that can, if that's done well, then of course it'd be lots of fun no matter what you're trading.
That's the thing, because Cosmic Agate is already good, but that's a nice bite-sized negotiation game. Same with Sheriff in the other room. Right next door to it is New Angeles, which is a Netrunner themed negotiation game, and that's like a 3-hour epic negotiation game of that. And I love that one. It's like an underrated gem for me. But again, usually requires 6 players, best done at a convention or when you've got a lot of time. Not the easiest one, although I could technically fit it into a game night. And talking about it now, I really want to get it out again. But yeah, it's a lot of these negotiation games are such epic events that trying to get them played is usually a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, well. Yeah. Right, so we've had 2 from the same publisher and 2 of the same theme and thing. If this happens a 3rd time in a row, I will be scared. All right, I'll be getting the Ouija boards out and everything. So on to 6s.
Okay.
Right. Nah, looking at my number 6, actually, no, there's no way we could be linking in any way on this.
Okay,
no way.
Cool. So my number 6 is Arcadia Quest. Now,
Right, we definitely haven't linked. I'll give you that.
No. There you go. Everything's fine. But I've wanted to play this for years and years, and I actually do have a friend who has like 3 different Arcadia quests.
There's
And he
Arcadia,
loves.
Starcadia, and was there a third one?
I think he's got like Inferno, like Arcadia Quest.
Oh,
Inferno,
a spin-off.
and
Yeah. I know the one
spin-offy ones. Yeah. But like, it's just we're often playing other games. Like at the minute, we're playing Clank Legacy, and stuff. Just other things kind of get in the way. And again, it's been years, and it's never happened. And I just think, even though it's right there, I just don't think it's ever going to happen. Like, at least not for the next 10 years, I don't think. Because again, like they've got kids, and I've got kids and stuff, so it's really hard to fit it in. And obviously, campaigns are really hard because one group of friends who I played with, Legacy, we played a Pandemic Legacy Season 1, and it took us 2 years to finish. So it's that kind of thing, you know. You kind of, and since that, it's like, okay, like I'm going to invest. Like, will we actually see the end of this campaign? If not, I don't know if we're going to want to start it, you know. So, but it's one that just looks like so much fun. Like, I love that there's, you know, I love the way that it looks. I love the little minis, and I like that, like, it has obviously ongoing targets, things that you're trying to fulfill, isn't it? Like, you know, you're kind of gaining points in different ways as the games go on.
Yeah,
I look at that and I'm like, I want to play it so much.
Yeah, it's a good little laugh. A friend of mine, I think, used to have it, or maybe he doesn't anymore. But I played a bit with him, a couple of games. I don't think we did a full campaign, and I enjoyed it fine. I mean, I went to it knowing that it was going to be one where people are going to gang up on you and be kind of vindictive, which put me off a bit at first. But knowing that that's kind of the whole game, I got more used to it, and then I got into it as well. So it's like, yeah, fair enough. I had a pretty good time with it. But yeah, I wouldn't want to play it campaign style either, but it's also gone down that route, much like Zombicide and a lot of these other like big miniature games, where it's just like, you know, do you want to play this game? Give us $300 and you might be able to afford half of it. It's just too much. And I agree with you, campaigns can be a problem. There's a group of friends of mine that I play Pandemic Legacy games with before, and it took us a fair while to get, not 2 years, blimey, not even a year,
it was epic, but
it could take us a while to get through those, but it took us about a year and a half to get through I think the King's Dilemma, because the pandemic started, and then we could barely meet up, and it's just like, can we finish this please? And it's why I've got I'm burned out on campaign games unless I can play them solo. So as much as I've got Sleeping Gods, and I know that they will castrate me if I don't play it with them at some point, because they love Near and Far. But this is the one exception where I'm like, okay, we'll play another campaign game, guys, because I know they want to play it. But I played it solo and can play it solo, so it gets a free pass. Apparently, you don't have to play it as a campaign.
I mean, that's good to know.
I mean, to be fair, we didn't play a campaign, so that must be true. We must have somehow played it in standalone rules, but... this makes sense. You know, big giant miniature games that are campaign driven, they're going to be hard to play. I mean, Gloomhaven was another example on your list from before. So these ones fit. I wonder if I've got any like. Actually, I do have one like that coming up later on the list. So that should be. We'll reiterate this back then. Okay, now number 6. As I said, this actually has a likelihood it will get played, but I don't think I'll be the instigator. I think somebody at a convention will just happen to have a copy and we'll play it, because I know that my local games cafe doesn't have it. I'm not aware of anybody I know who does have it, and I think it's out of print unless you buy some stupidly expensive big box version, which I'm not as keen on doing, and even then I think that's out of print. But an oldie, but apparently a goodie, El Grande. This is apparently one of the first area control games that kind of sort of put the genre on the map, really. And okay, don't care about the theme. But then, to be honest, most of the Euro games, I don't care about the theme. Yeah. But I have played 1 or 2 Euro games that have this cube tower mechanic in it. And for some reason, I just get a kick out of cube towers. They seem to work. In fact, one of the only failed games that I actually enjoyed playing before was Amerigo, because I really liked how the cube tower worked in that, where you put the cubes in and it dictated what actions you could do and how powerful they were. And for some reason, I latched onto that. I mean, the whole game is a themeless, point salad, but that mechanic made me like it. And like I say, to say any positive stuff about failed, as you know, is somewhat rare with me. But this one apparently is a very bare bones area control game. You drop your little meeples in the Castellan or whatever the tower is called, which might just be a gimmick in the game, but it still takes my interest. Bare bone rule for area control, but apparently you've got these cards that you use that you kind of have to select from, and I don't know the specific rules with the mechanics, but the cards are a big factor of the game, where you've got different ways of scoring, or as well as selecting like what areas you're going to control, you've also got to deal with which cards you're going to pick. There's some pretty good photos here, I'll give it that.
Yeah, I thought that. I was like, that's a nice one.
That's a pretty good one there. But it's like I say, will I like it? I don't know, but I'm more of a cult of the old than I am a cult of the new, I think. Because after playing a lot of games, you get jaded after a while and you think, right, this is a new game. What's it doing that someone else hasn't already done? And, you've got to compare it to what's already come before. I've still got some pretty oldish games like Pillars of the Earth on my shelf, and it's like, that's a really good worker placement game. The bag master builder mechanic has not been repeated anywhere. I don't know why, because I love it, but it's still an oldie and a goodie. This one could be the same sort of deal, although, that's not the consensus we're getting from Kabuki. So like, it was good, but no huge drive. As I say, even if I don't want to play it a second time, I still want to at least try it. Although it's only used as a memory device. Remembering how many cubes each person put in each round of tower does nothing else. It's a little bit of a letdown, but as I say, a simple area control game. It looks nice. Yes, it's a beige Euro, but at least it's got some color in it. But I think it's that card. I think it's that card system that's appealing to me a bit more. But occasionally I have looked on it when it's been in print and gone, should I buy it just to be certain? I don't know. So this one has tempted me back and forth, and I've usually resisted buying it. I'm now at that stage where I'm like, don't really want to buy it. I just want someone to show me it. And there's got to be somebody out there, a big Euro fan, that wants to play it. There has to be.
Surely. It's not something that's ever appealed to me, but...
somebody over the age of 50, at a game convention must have this game or something, because this is well, it's one of them where every time I go to a game convention, you see like the more older folk playing games. You look at the column of games they've got next to the table, and it is stuff from the 90s. These really old Euro games, and it's kind of like, oh, there's some good stuff in there, but man, you've kept that for a good proportion of your life, because you can tell that they bought it when it was released. Like, it's the first old print cover, worn out from 20 years of use or something. It's just like, one of those people has got to have El Grande. And I'll give it a try. Yeah. Well, we shall see. Maybe I'll eat my words at a later date. Although, if you thought that was the only Euro on my list, one's coming up, which I think is going to shock some people greatly. I can't wait to get to that one. But it won't be my next one. Number 5s.
Okay, so this isn't a crossover, but you have mentioned this game already, and it's another negotiation game.
Really? No way.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. No, it can't be that one. It's got to be the other. Oh, was that
No
one?
Angeles. Yeah. No Angeles.
That I did not expect.
Really? No, I wanted to play it for a long time, because I think so I know that you talked about it, but then also actual John Perkis, he kind of talked about how great it was as well. And I was like, man, this sounds great. Like, I'd love to play that. But again, I know it's a negotiation game, so you need a lot of people to play with, which I think for a while I'm not going to have the chance to have a lot of people to play it with. But then also, like, you buy it and then you're going to play it maybe once a year or something. And at the minute, I like to try and get more players out of a game, within a year kind of thing. So, it's one of those things that I just want to play it so much, but I know that with my group of friends, I'd have to be the one who gets it, and then it'll probably sit on my shelf for a really long time, until we don't play it, and then I won't play it again for a long time, But so I'd like to.
That is the thing. I
mean, I can play a lot,
because you can play it with 4, but I recommend playing it with at least 5, if not the full count of 6. But this is a really good one. I mean, it's got that Netrunner theme down to a T, but the thing I love with this is that each player is playing a corp, and they all feel very different to play, because each of them has got their own way of dealing with the city's problems. One of them deals with the health aspect, one deals with the security, one deals with the power and the money and the media. And each one's got their own agenda as to how they're various actions work. Like, I can sort this out, but I suck at doing this. So you kind of have to hope that the other corp will sort this problem out. But then you've also got the hidden traitor in the midst, the Federalist or whatever they're called, who wants the city to tank. So you've got to lend a hand now and again, but everybody's got their own agenda of, I need to win the game. I need to finish the game at least this many points ahead of my rival. So you're trying to figure out who each other's rival is for a kickoff while trying to obviously stay one step ahead of yours, but not reveal to them that you're my rival, therefore we can't negotiate ever or something. So it's got that cool hidden aspect, but the card system in here I do love. It essentially, like, one person sticks I forget what they're called, but like an objective down, like saying, I propose we do this. I propose we turn off all the factories for this turn so that we can get this, whatever. And then people can counteract with another offer and say, no, I reckon we should actually concentrate more on the security. Let's get more armed guards out somewhere. And then people will start negotiating and voting and sort of taking bribes. There's some assets that you win if you win the negotiation, so there's that incentive as well. Like, I don't care what you do this turn, I just want that asset. But I don't want to make that clear. And so a lot of that back and forth negotiation happens, and then one of them gets resolved, the city develops, but all the while, like I say, you've got insurgents who are trying to cause trouble. Obviously health problems will have issues, power issues, and I love the way that this represents the Netrunner theme so well, like so well. Hi to you, Corlu. Thanks for joining us. So yeah, I mean, this one, I mean, I could bring it to a convention. It is worth it, but this would definitely be a heavier experience than Cosmic Encounter by far.
Yeah.
So, but I'm shocked
love to play it, man.
I am shocked though. Like, I did not think this was going to be on your list at all.
Really? Yeah, no. It's been a few years. I've been like, oh, I want to play it so much. But
well, I thought you wouldn't have even heard. I thought you wouldn't have even heard of it though.
Yeah, no, I think because you talk about it, and an actual LOL. Yeah, like
true, but I just didn't think that would be enough. You know,
you really
fair enough. Fair enough. That was unexpected. All right, my number 5. Right, you remember you've been going on about a few big miniature games, you know, that are expensive or not impossible to get because they're on Kickstarter and that. Well, this one was Kickstarter exclusive, and that's already a death sentence for a lot of games because I hate Kickstarter exclusives. Although Edge of Darkness I will give a free pass to, but Kingdom Death Monster, you can't get hold of it. I don't know anyone who has it. I don't know if it's even any good, but I want to try it. I happily want to sit down. Yeah. Well, the problem is the people who love it, and it's a small group of people who actually bought the thing because it was just ridiculously expensive. But I mean, the dark theme appeals to me. The miniatures, of course, look great. I mean, it's kind of like a cross between Dark Souls and a survival game. But, you know, I know so little about the mechanics in it because, you know, what's the point in learning too much about the game if you think you're never going to play it? But I want to at least find out what it's like. You know, somebody local to me has the game and says like, all right, we're going to do a few games of this. I'd happily come along and try it. You know, even though I know little to nothing about how it even works. As Lillian says, it's a niche game. It really is a niche game. But I do like, you know, these miniatures fighting each other. And I think it's just the fact that the theme is so dark. I mean, there are some weird and wonderful miniatures that you get with this game. Even though the first one, you're just fighting this lion, I think it's this lion that you fight in the first one. And it's like, you're pretty much beating up on this godly, like, monstrous lion with a stick. That's about
really? Okay.
That's how like bad the survival gets in this game. But you know, I want to try it. I certainly don't want to collect it or paint any of the miniatures because you know I ain't got a chance of that. And I am a little bit concerned that it's just a bare mat.
Yeah, the board is really interesting. Yeah.
Like, where's the terrain? You know, it's just like a basic grid. So I question how much mechanics there can be in this game. But
do people make their own like play area, you know, like with like Warhammer, obviously you can make your own like terrain and everything. Does anybody know if like with this that the people can do that?
I've not seen any examples of that, so I assume no. I assume that this is the board you use and you have to use the grid system, but I just don't know how it works in that. Apparently it's a line. Oh god, yeah, it's a line with human hands. That's got human hands. Yeah, that's kind of weird. I'm not sure I favour the paint job. That's a much better paint job. Yeah. Wait a minute, is that a kid's head?
Like a little face. So, yeah,
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna say, I mean, this dark theme is one reason I'm interested in it, but yeah, likely won't play. This is pretty high up on the likelihood. I mean, there's games I want to play more than this one, but yeah, if we were doing this solely on which game do you think's the least likely on your list you're ever gonna play, it'd probably be this one because it's gonna be a niche group of people and a niche scenario where I'm ever going to try this game, and if I don't, what the hell? But yeah. Kickstarter exclusives. I'm not a fan of it when these things happen. As I say, stop making them exclusive. I'm sick and tired of this practice. It really does need to stop. You even heard of it?
Yeah, I heard of it because Quackalope, they do a lot of videos on it, right? Yeah, and no, I've not really like watched them just because I know that it doesn't really appeal to me as a game. Like, but so I am aware of it for sure, and I was aware that people really like it. The people obviously who have it, so there has to be something good about it, you know. if people love it that much, you know.
Apparently you can get terrain tiles. Well, at
Oh,
least
right.
it's something. But the problem is, has it got to be good? I don't know, because I sort of thought this with Gloomhaven at first, and there's certainly a bunch of other miniature games I think are like this. That as soon as you spend so much money and investment on a game, you kind of force yourself to like it. You look over the flaws a lot more. Well, because you try to justify your expense. Now, for me, it's kind of the opposite. It's like, I got Rising Sun in the other room, and that's the last Cool Mini or Not Kickstarter I ever did. And I regret doing that because I love the game. I love the game. It's on my shelf, but I regret going all in because I think I'm not going to use all this content. And even then, it was still a lot of money for this game. I could have survived with less. And so the game, as much as I love the game, still had to justify that huge price tag. The Street Fighter one that's come out recently from Angry Joe. I mean, I love watching his show, but I was very skeptical about how good the board game was going to be, and the reviews so far are not the best. It looks basically like a luck fest, but with cool miniatures. And I just think it's stupidly expensive, and it's got great miniatures. How many people are going to have bought this? And I know a couple of people who have actually, like people who go to my local clubs. How many of them are going to be like, yeah, but it's fine, it's Street Fighter, and it's like, how much did you spend? So it's gonna be like that. Money influences everything. It's like everybody's mind is influenced by cash. It's just the way it is in the world. Well, but being on to fours.
Okay, right.
Remind yourself.
Yeah, I have to keep checking. So this game, it's been out for a little while, but really, to get the most out of it, you need 8 players. Okay, and
it's not a negotiation game, is it?
It's not negotiation. No, no. It's 8 players, and you're all working you're working together. All like 2 teams of 4, and you each have a role.
Oh, and, I know which one.
Trying to take each other out, basically. Yeah, and that is Captain Sonar.
Yeah.
yeah.
Captain Sonar, yeah.
When I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy that. Like, I need that game." And then I was like, I kind of held back, and I was like, "Hang on a minute, like best with 8 players." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, like I definitely am not going to find 8, another 7 people like at the same time to get 7 other people in the same place at the same time." I just know that won't happen. And again, if I get to play this game, because again, at a convention, like it could be doable. But I mean, I feel like my convention days would be completely like full by this point.
It does have a running theme actually. Big exclusive Kickstarter, expensive, or convention game is usually what's putting them on this list.
Yeah. But it looks so cool. Like I love like the idea of everyone kind of got their own little role that they're playing, and you're all kind of just trying to work together in order to kind of get all the information that you need to then try and launch an attack on where you think they are at that moment in time.
Yeah, I think you can play it with.
It looks like so much fun.
I think you can play it with 6, but you miss out on the roll in that.
Yeah, or someone would have to have 2 roles or something like that.
Possibly, because you've always got to at least have a captain and a flight thing. But yeah, somebody would have to have 2 roles, so I guess it would just be really hard to do. As I say, I've played it. It's okay. I mean, it's not my style. It's not my style of game, so it's not one that I'm that keen on. But the problem is that with these role games, you play it and it's like, oh, I can be one of 4 different roles, and there's only one role you want to be, and that's the same with this one because the captain I don't want to be because I'm not good enough at the game to be the one issuing orders and stuff. So it's like someone else can be the captain. Right. Then you've got the first mate, who basically is just putting on cubes on the little dials or like little bits and saying what they can fire on that. I mean, this little thing, and it's like, that's okay. I mean, you've got some different aspects to do. The engineer has got the worst job in the world. In fact, the most boring job out of the lot, because all they are doing is putting cubes or like bits that get used onto this track here, and things are breaking down, and they're kind of like trying to get the cubes off so that's repaired. But it's a very thankless job. Like, you don't really have much influence over the others. They're busy doing their own stuff and just handing you stuff they're doing. And it's like, seriously, guys, this stuff doesn't work. You know, it's not the most rewarding job. But I do enjoy this game if I'm the cartographer dude, this guy. This is the one time I enjoy playing Captain Sonar, when I'm trying to plot the map, trying to figure out where they could possibly be with the plastic see-through cellophane over the top, and then very satisfying when you get to say, sir, they're there, fire, and you fire, you get a hit, and it's just like, that was me. It's like, because it's like you lot are doing your own thing there. If I didn't tell you where they were, we'd be losing. And it's just it's such a big-headed thing. But I have had a game where I did play, and like 2 games in a row I was cartographer, and every single time I found out exactly where they were, like the first time or something.
Awesome.
I think well, they might have been a bit too obvious about where they were or something in terms of
you're like listening out to what they're saying.
You're listening out to that. Well, you're listening out for that, but you're also moving your see-through thing on there. So when they say you've gone forward, right, left, or whatever, you're maneuvering it to think, well, there's no physical way it could go there because that would hit an island and da-da-da. And I'm usually quite quick at figuring that bit out.
Cool.
Until they say, right, we're surfacing, and it's like, oh, great. Now I've got to start from scratch. But as Coraloo says, it's a good game for a convention. It's probably the only time you would ever get played. Yogi apparently likes being the engineer because he gets to tell the captain off.
Oh, really?
which kind of works. Yeah, you do get to shout back at them. Also, he's like, look, you know, I want to fire torpedoes. It's like, for the last time, we can't fire them, all right? But seriously, I've never seen so many things break on the submarine. I mean, I don't know. Have we got any submarine engineers here or so that can tell me whether these things break down so often in the real world? But it does seem a little bit insane, like how many times the engineer shouts at you saying this doesn't work, and it's like, maybe the military budget needs a bit of an upgrade. Ready?
So that makes me want to play even more. Like, hearing all of that, I'm like, again, the dynamics that you'd have between everyone, it just sounds cool. But yeah,
I do recommend giving it a try. It's just not my style of game. Number 4, right? This is the one which I think is going to shock a few people. In fact, I wonder if Board Gaming Ramblings are still around and listing, because this would really scare them to think I would dare put this game on my list. But I do like big, heavy Euros. When they turn up, you know, there are some that I do go for. And this one is on my list because of how it looks, is the main thing. But also because I already have a game high up in my list that I know Board Gaming Ramblings don't like. That is from this publisher and the same artist. The game itself is called Agra. The theme is not something I'm desperate for. This whole idea of, oh, it's the year who gives a monkeys, it's the birthday of some dude, you know, let's get resources and influence and stuff. You know, it's like, whatever. I'm not too interested in the theme per se, although the Indian side is different. It's better than medieval Britain and, you know, French Renaissance kind of thing. Italian Renaissance, you know what I mean. But the way this thing is, I've got a game called Terramara in the other room. And I love that game. It's like one of my favorite Euros. It's by the same publisher, Quinid Games, and it's done by the same artist, Michael Menzel, who literally, if his paintbrush touches anything, I want to buy the game. Because I mentioned Pillars of the Earth earlier. The board, anytime Michael Menzel takes a board, it looks gorgeous. Pillars of the Earth is one of the most beautiful boards I've seen. Terramara, all the tiles there look beautiful. Look at this. That is a beautiful board. That looks
cool. Yeah. That's very nice. Do you move down the... Is that the one where you move down the river? Oh, no.
Everything about this. All the colour... Back in a sec. There we go. And we're back.
We're back?
It happens. Yeah, it's all right. It's just a connection blip. But yeah, this setting here looks so beautiful. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know if this thing's got any use whatsoever, this 3D thing, apart from just being a glorified track, like from Praga Kabut Regne or whatever the new one is. But I want to play it just because even if I don't like the mechanics of the game, I just want to stare at this board and drool because it just looks so good. Michael Menzel has the thing of not only making these things look beautiful and epics look, but he always has little Easter eggs around. Like, you know, you look at, I reckon I could look at one of the little people there in the corner and go like, the guy's got a cat. Was he taking that to market for? And stuff like that. And all of it, anytime, he's one of the best board artists I've ever seen. I don't even know what this is for. Like, it's tracking resources and influence like I don't, but the fact that this looks so overproduced in every way, shape, or form, but in a good way, makes me really want to try this one out. It's just, like I said, I don't know if I'll like it mechanically. There's too many mechanics in it for me to learn too much more about it. But because Terramara is one of my favorite Euros, and again, if I load it up quick, one of my favorites, and say ranked 1600, I love it. It's one of my favorite Euros. This one just won me over, and I didn't know anything about it at first. But Quinnet Games, Michael Menzel, and again, this is over there, but again, work of art. Like, everything that Michael Menzel touches just looks beautiful. It's a bit like Ryan Lockett whenever he touches a game. It's a different art style, but I want to play, this is already a Euro I love, but Agra, whatever. I don't care what your theme is. It looks gorgeous. It's ranked higher, so it must be more popular with a few. It's going to be a long game, and 4.37. Yeah, this is one that's going to burn my brain. Hence, I've been tempted to buy it myself. I don't know, but it's hard to say. And speak of the devil, here we go. Yeah, Cold. I wonder if you were still here. Cold Agra some years ago, so you'll probably like it a lot. Oi. Over that. Excuse. I have to say, it was very cheeky considering the last 3 or 4 Instagram posts they've done with things like Kanban EV and stuff. I've actually said this is fantastic Euro game or something, which I know they're going to keep. These particular games, I know they're keeping. They're not culling them. And it's just like, I like them. So, no, it's not like we're just complete opposites. Although, I know they hate Terramara. So, whether they didn't like Agra as well. So, maybe I'll like Agra on that basis. I don't know. Yeah. But I'm hesitant to want to... Cool. I'm just hesitant to want to buy it for the sake that that's going to be a beast to learn and play, and might only be played with certain people. This is another one of those, come on, convention, big Euro fan, somebody show me this game, teach me it, and I'll play it, and then I'll make my decision there. But definitely, probably I think on my list, is it my main Euro? Yeah, this is the highest, like, proper Euro game that I want to play.
Yeah, it looks, I've never heard of it, but it looks awesome. Like, I would play it. I don't know if I would, like, if it was, if someone was playing it and there was a space at the table, I would absolutely, like, step in for sure. Just from looking at it.
Yeah, played it 3 times in one day. Was this the only game you played all day? Was that literally the 24 hours of your day, like, gone? So it kind of worked. Oh, wait, no, I think, that's going back to Captain Sonar. Sorry, I've gone further up the list, Agra is complex just for the sake of complexity, feels bloated and not very... You're trying to put me off a game here, guys. It's hard to say. Although, completely complex for the... Actually, nah, to be fair, you two don't tend to go for the overly complex games. You like the Felds, they're not overly complex themselves. They're more medium weight. So, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Although, on that basis, I wonder how you're getting on with Feudum. Because I've only played that game once, and I loved it to bits when I played it the first time. But again, it's like very rare scenarios I'm ever going to play it. But yeah, you want complex for complexity's sake. That's a good contender for a sort of game like that. Don't know if you've ever heard of that one.
I have, yeah. It looks awesome as well. Like, again, like just table presence is like...
It's got the presence, and it's got some very cool mechanics with those guilds. That just sold me instantly, but it still took us about 4 to 5 hours to play a 5-player game of it at a convention with friends. Yeah. So it's it's a bit of a beast, particularly when you're trying to relearn the game again. What was that? 4s. So tap 3. Right.
Okay, I'm back at space negotiation type stuff.
There can't be that many space negotiation games in existence.
So this one is Star Wars themed. I don't know if it's all negotiation really.
What Star Wars game is negotiation?
Well, I don't know if it's negotiated. I feel like there might be some elements of it within there. But Twilight Imperium 4, I don't know if there is a negotiation. I figured there'd be some going on in there.
Okay, all right. People in the
Negotiate.
comments, be nice to him, okay?
Okay.
After he just
Okay.
said Star Wars and then that, all right?
Oh, really?
Be nice to him. He does not know what he
I don't even
says,
know.
okay?
Oh no!
No, Twilight Imperium is not Star Wars. It's its own thing.
Wait,
It's a
hang
sep.
on. With the lion, without the lion thing.
No, Twilight Imperium is not Star Wars.
No way! Oh my gosh! Okay, well there you go. Oh no!
Oh, as soon as I heard that, I just thought, oh god, the comments are gonna eat him alive.
People. I'm not much of a Star Wars fan, to be honest. I mean, I like Star Wars, but like not loads. I'm making it worse.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, this is gonna be a fun one. This will be like the most fun comments I'll read. Yeah. Yes, I'm making it worse, but that's the fun of it. All right, I say, perfect one for a list like this, though. Go on about it.
There you go. I'm scared to say anything now.
No, come on, you got to redeem yourself.
Anyway, so for me, like, what like really appeals to me about it was what also, I mean, look at how is that not Star Wars? Okay,
just because it's in space doesn't make it Star Wars.
I know. Oh my goodness.
I can imagine a Disney employee saying this, but
thank you, Board Gaming Ramblings. You're so kind to me. Everything is Star Wars.
Suck up. Twilight and the Outer Rim. That works.
There you go. We can make a game of that. But yeah, so like I love that it's like you can spend like a whole day playing this game. Yeah, that's like the main thing, but that's the main reason why. So I don't know lots about it, obviously, but I know it's obviously very popular, and I'd love to spend a whole day playing one big, huge, sprawling game, essentially. And like I've heard lots of good things about this, but I doubt that I will ever get to play it because I don't have a whole day to play a game. And of my friends, I'd have to buy it. And then again, it probably wouldn't get played very much. It'd be played once a year, if that. And then all my friends would make fun of me because I would have told them that it's Star Wars, and they'd be like, they would know that it's not Star Wars.
No, I think they hazard a guess.
So I mean, bad.
It's a big epic game. I enjoy it fine. It's just too long for me.
Yeah, but see, that for me, like again, it would usually be too long. But like if I had like one whole day,
which you need,
then yeah. Then that'd be epic. It'd be awesome. I mean, look at the board there. Just filling up and
it is generally a cool game. I mean, it's a bit combat heavy. I mean, what tends to happen in this game is something I've noticed. I mean, I like the different races. I like all the different techs, and certainly 4th edition is the way to go. The asymmetry in this, it is a pretty cool, fun game. Just, I don't want to spend 6 hours playing it when I feel like this could have been condensed down to a sort of 3-hour experience. And what tends to happen in every game I see is that this middle bit, Mechatol Rex, basically everybody starts on the edge of the board, builds up a bunch of forces, and then half the players go to the middle and end up in this big cluster of like models where I can't tell what's going on as they all battle to try and control that center planet. Yes, I know it's worth more points, and that's kind of the deal, but I'm the one who tends to sit back and turtle up and do more of the technology and political stuff in the game, because I just don't want to have to deal with that cluster mess of 3 or 4 different people trying to get this one planet. And that kind of just irks me because that happens every game. Like, it's like it never really ended up the same. But no, this is a good one. Yeah, I mean, if you're not going to buy it yourself, and if people you don't know have it, then yeah, the only time you're going to get to try this is at a convention.
Yeah. Which again, there's only so much time in a yeah. I'd usually go for like a day to a convention, so like there's only so much time in a day.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. It's hard for me to concentrate on talking about this though, because the comments have just been fantastic.
I know. I've been keeping an eye on it. I'm like, oh my God.
I gotta admit, Coralie made a brilliant one here. It's like, just because it's in space doesn't make it Star Wars, must mean it's Star Trek or something. Even I had to say touche on that one. It's like, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's like, and the space vampires too, by going down the Twilight route. Ramblings have still got your back. Isn't it based in the stars somewhere? So Star Wars.
Yeah, there's some war going on in the stars.
I thought you were going to say Star Wars Rebellion, like Yogi thought.
Yeah.
Because I thought
absolutely.
Well, I would have let you off on that one, because I would have. Well, yeah, but I could understand maybe you might have thought there was, it's a big game, it's asymmetric, and I thought maybe you just didn't know it wasn't negotiation. That's fine. It's just when you said Star Wars and then went to a different intellectual property, it's like, whoa,
Totes,
like
man,
that.
totes.
I did not kind of see it, but yeah, that that would
Was
be
that
good. I
it?
mean, Wing Commander, yeah, had Mark Hamill doing some fees. Oh, Outer Rim, yeah, that was the other one. Star Wars Outer Rim. Thought you
Yeah,
might have
which would be
wanted
a
to
cool
say.
game to play. Yeah,
It's a
Spaceball
good
gets a mention as well.
Spaceballs. Well, Spaceballs always gets a mention because it's like one of my
It's
favorite
awesome.
comedies, and it gets used in my videos so much with footage,
Yeah,
just because nearly every joke in it works for
yeah, I
something I'm
love
trying to say. Yeah, we could. They've gone to plaid.
that.
In fact, we were talking about the Aliens like franchise earlier. That alien dancing across the bar, going "Hello, my baby, hello, my honey." That has
Yeah,
me in
yeah.
stitches every time. I love that so much. But all right, that was an unexpected free, I will
Well,
say.
yeah,
But
yeah.
that perfect. We'd not had that before, but
What
yeah.
a roller coaster.
Roller coaster ride is what you get on these streams. Like I
Oh
say,
yeah,
we jest. All right.
of course.
Number 3. Speaking of which, we got a space game. It's a Space 4X game. We're
Star
linking
Wars.
up again. Well, it's not Star Wars though. I know this is not Star Wars.
Are
This
you
one is
sure?
definitely not Star Wars. It is its own IP. It came out like 2012. This is a relatively oldish one. Dice Tower
Hmm.
love it, but I don't think it's in print, although they did do a Kickstarter to reprint it, but it was a pretty bad Kickstarter. Like, it was stupidly expensive and the expansion nobody cared about. But I would like to give Exodus Proxima Centauri a play because it's one of the few space technology, political style, space epic games I've not played. And again, don't know a huge amount about it other than what the Dice Tower have said, but
Mhm.
looks cool. I mean,
It looks very similar
well, that's what I mean. I
to.
think at the
Yeah.
time, I don't know if this was like Twilight Imperium's second edition or third edition at the time, maybe, but it was one of those like space epic 4X games
Mm.
to sit alongside the likes of Twilight. And this one boasts the same sort of stuff you would expect in a 4X game. I mean, I think some of the components are a little bit like hit and miss or something, but it's kind of spreadsheety. But this one focused a lot on technology, so you could have a lot of different technologies in there. I think this is the recent reprint, yeah, the revised edition. And as I say, it's not exactly the best looking one in the world, but it had, from what I could tell, everything I want from a Space 4X game. It had NPCs that you interacted with, it had all the technologies, all the different ships, a politics side, and that's about as much as I know, but it's got a seal of excellence from them.
Yeah.
They think it's
Was
9
it
out of
like
10 worthy.
was it the old Seal of Excellence? Because I know they changed it like a few years ago, didn't they? Like
Um, well, this is the revised edition, so this would have had a more recent
right.
seal on it. But I mean,
Changed
typically, if
that,
they're
yeah,
giving
yeah.
it a seal of excellence, it's a bit like
Yeah,
my seal
definitely.
of it's like my seal of distinctions. We're talking 9,
Mm.
10 out of 10s here.
Yeah.
So they really enjoyed this one, particularly Sam Healy, I remember. And I never saw a copy. The Kickstarter was just not particularly enticing because it was like really expensive.
Right.
And I didn't want expansions because I'd never even played the base game. So it kind of put me off wanting to back it. But if somebody shows me this, I'll definitely be up for trying it. Even if, like I say, component quality could be better. I think this might be the first version. I'm not sure, but either way, give me a Space 4X game. There's a good chance I'm gonna want to try it. And what have we got there? So I have the game, haven't touched it.
Mm.
Some people haven't even heard of it. Got
I
it
hadn't
at a
heard of
bring
that
and
one.
buy. Some people, yeah, would have got it as a bring and buy. Most people I would have expected to have said, yeah, I'll go for Eclipse. Although, to be fair, you've got to do more than tweak Eclipse to make it actually enjoyable. Space Base, balance my checkbook in space. But Space Base is, well, I mean, that's a totally different thing. That's a almost Catan-esque, dice rolling game. But would Space Base be acceptable with 2 players? Probably, I don't know. I've never played it with 2 players, but Space Base is a cool game. Maybe it works. Somebody might have to suggest it, but I mean, yeah, I recommend Space Base, but somebody else in the chat might help you with whether it's good for
Yeah,
two
yeah.
players or not, because I tend to play it 3 or 4. I won't play it with 5 ever again. That was way too much. But yeah, but Exodus Proxima Centauri, my knowledge is limited, but Space 4X, out of all the ones that I have not played that are Space 4X, it's, yeah, definitely my favorite of the genre that I have not yet tried. I've tried Twilight Imperium 4, as I said, fine, just too long. Love Empires of the Void, first and second version. That is my go-to space game, even though it's more 3x and 4x, and don't like Eclipse at all. So, gotta try and find more space games. And the new Stellaris one that Academy Games are doing. I don't know if you saw that one.
Yeah,
that
I saw it on the hotness list, yeah.
Yeah, I am hoping that one is good because I play the PC game every now and again. I've played through it. I like the PC game Stellaris. And if they can fulfill half of the stuff that they've promised in terms of the way it's set up and how you can have your own race and drop in, drop out capability in that, then this could be a good contender for not to replace something like Empires of the Void, because this is very much a different style of space game. That's more light-hearted and dealing with alien races. This one is more the epic 4X, build your empire style, and I would like one of those in my collection somewhere. So, I'm keeping an eye on you, Academy Games. Don't mess it up. All right. I've got enough learning. I could murder BT sometimes. Like I say, that was just a little unstable connection there, so I don't know if the intro played properly for some, but as I say, we're on to 2s. Okay, so come on, internet, stay with me for these last 2.
Okay, so I definitely do have, for my number 2, I definitely have a Star Wars themed game.
Are you sure it's Star Wars this time?
I'm pretty sure. I really hope so, because if not, but this is Star Wars Rebellion.
Oh, I was going to say, I knew you had to have this on your list somewhere.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh. So again, I've wanted to play this for a long time.
You kept that hidden well when I was talking about it before.
Yeah. I was sitting here like, oh man, this is going to continue. But yeah, so like, I think it looks so cool. I love the hidden element. I love kind of slightly hidden movement, obviously, that's in there. And I do like that it's a 2-player game. Obviously, I think you can play it 4-player, like teams of 2, right? But that's also a reason why I wouldn't necessarily play it. I don't think, because my wife, I don't think she's not going to sit down with me for a couple of hours, 2-3 hours playing this. And she's my main gaming partner, really. Like we play together like all the time. So I would love to play this so much, and I think she would enjoy it, but we only have so much time.
Star Wars?
Not really. She enjoys the films. Like, we've watched them all together, believe it or not.
Why would I disbelieve that?
But yeah, like it's not something that she would necessarily like. It would be the reason why she would play it. She would kind of think about, okay, how long is this going to take for us to play? Because she's a mate. She loves gaming, and she's really good at it, and she loves playing games. But she doesn't want to invest too much time in them, like I would be happy to, So
yeah, that's the thing with it, because it's on my shelf and I love it. I can't remember the last time I played it though, because this is one of those rare occasions where it's a 2-player only game that still remains in the collection, because most of them I tend to sell off. Like I sold Raptor recently because it's 2 players. I don't get it to the table often enough, but if it's a 2-player game that I'm going to keep, there's usually either the game is so good that I want to keep it, or there's a way to play it solo, like Seven Wonders Duel. It's 2-player only, but I can play it solo. So even though I don't often get to play it 2-player, which I can do on Board Game Arena, then I can play it solo and I'm happy. Star Wars Rebellion, I can't do that. Don't play it 4-player, that's a waste of time. But you can't play it solo either. So this has to be a 2-player game. And because I get to play it so rarely, I have to relearn the rules every single time I come to this, because there's too much of a time gap that passes. But wow, do I love this game when I play it.
Yeah, this is the thing. I know that I would love it, but yeah, for all those reasons, it's so hard to actually be able to play. So yeah, I've almost kind of given up on it in a way, really. But it's been like I've been ready to like click it on my wish list, ready to like buy so many times as well, and I'm like, no, I won't play it. I know I won't. Like, we won't get it to the table for a long time.
Yeah, but least, I mean, I would just be careful about that sort of thing, really, because it is, like I say, it is a long game. You're talking 2 to 3 hours, possibly a bit longer on your first play. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but everything that happens in Star Wars just kind of works with it. And theme wise, it's about as good as you can get for a Star Wars game. And the asymmetrical nature of it, with Darkseid trying to do the hidden deduction, where are you type thing, with the superior armed forces, whereas the rebels do all the hit and run and missions and that. But you can tweak what happens in the film's dark content. Maybe Leia gets frozen in carbonite, or Chewie does instead of Han. That kind of thing, and it just really does come down well. Now, some of that has been helped by the expansion, and that's another problem, because if you buy the base set alone, you might not find the combat to be that good. The combat's fine, but it's the weak element of the base set.
Okay.
But the expansion, Days of an Empire, I forget what it's called, the one that brought in the Rogue One stuff, that one had a cinematic combat phase, like replacement, in a sense, where you played these cards in order to do the combat. That works so much better than the original bit. And so it's like, if I play it, I'm going to teach it with that bit included. But if you bought it base, you wouldn't have that. And I certainly wouldn't advise anybody to buy the expansion off the bat. It's like way too much to absorb. So it's kind of like a tricky one with that. But yeah, I love this one, even though it gets played maybe once a year if I'm lucky. It's just like, it's like crazy. And yeah. Well, Vinny, something about you two are in a better position to be able to play it, because at least you live together and can just play it. But I've got to get specific people and then relearn the rules and then teach it, because I don't know anybody who's familiar with the rules. It's just a little bit of a problem with child in that sense. But yeah, still love it. One of the 2-player games that won't leave my collection. Outer Rim, people have mentioned. This, I'm aware that there is a solo mode someone made on BGG, but I'm a little bit hesitant to try fan-made solo modes, because as much as I give them credit and some of them can be good, there's a difference between some dude who enjoys the game and a designer. I'm kind of like, how balanced is this solo mode really? But maybe I'll give it a look, because it's another way to play it. And I agree, I don't hate the original combat, but as people are agreeing, yes, the expansion combat changes are like really, really good. It's just one of those things. Ready, number 2, something blimey. Now, here's the slightly ironic thing. We've been giving you jip for Star Wars like crazy. And someone mentioned, you were insulted all Trekkies, didn't you? And it's like, inadvertently, maybe, but maybe this is a slight research, like a way to redeem myself. This technically could count for 2 games, because if either one gets shown to me, I'll be happy. The one that doesn't make this list is Star Trek Fleet Captains, and yeah, you're doing Star Wars, I'm doing a Star Trek, hence the irony with it. But Star Trek Ascendancy is one that I would like somebody to show me. And I do have a friend who has this with a bunch of stuff. I'm hoping that when he's not so paranoid about trying to meet up again, he's got reasons why he should be. But like I say, the sooner we can meet up, the better. But this is one that I do want someone to show me, because, if you're going to sit me down for a long time to play a game, it's got to be a theme I'm interested in. And Gale Force 9, even though mechanically their games can suffer, like Firefly was another example, they really do a good job on the theme, though. I won't play Firefly the game because of its mechanical issues, but man, did it represent the Firefly series well. It made me want to watch the series straight after again. This one, again, looks like a similar deal. The idea of playing Romulans, Klingons, or things. You've got expansions, Federation, sorry. You've got an expansion to bring the Borg in, which looked really cool. Again, know nothing of the mechanics, but you want to sit me down for a 3 to 4 hour epic of Star Trek. I'll gladly go with that, because I like Star Wars and Star Trek. I'm a big, some Star Trek, not all of it, but I cherry pick my series. I love Next Generation, Voyager, and I didn't like Discovery at first, but then by the end of the first season and then second season onwards, it started getting good. So I like Discovery, but I didn't get into Deep Space Nine, which I know I'm going to get castrated for admitting that, and didn't like Enterprise at all. And the first series is cringeworthy. But like I say, I like half and half when it comes to Star Trek. Everybody's got their favorite series, but apart from that, don't know much else. Just give me an epic Star Trek game with good theme, and I'm in. but I think my friend is the only way I'm going to be able to play this because I'm not buying it.
Yeah, I like how like it looks how you kind of the board is obviously kind of moving around, like you're adding to it, I guess, as you go along from the looks of it.
Yeah, it looks like you've got
really
your own zone, and then you move, like you can warp to someone else's. But
yeah,
I mean, trade agreements. So it looks like you're not just fighting each other. It looks like there's actually other things you can do, like do missions and obviously build your empire. Maybe there'll be some good Easter eggs from the, some of the screen caps. Like maybe you'll hit Q, or there he is. Yep, there's Q. So it'd be interesting. I don't even know a lot of this stuff. Like the Earth. That's clearly the first series of Star Trek. I haven't really watched much of it, so I wouldn't recognize it, but it'd be cool just to learn a bit there. I wonder if that Garmok is in here, or whatever his name was, something when the walls fell, or whatever, from Next Generation. If you don't know it, that'll go over your head. But any Star Trek Next Generation, any Next Generation fan in the audience will know exactly what I'm on about. It was a really cool episode. It was basically Picard gets stranded on a planet. I think Darmok, I think his name is actually. The guy is an alien, and he has to try and communicate with him in order to get off the planet. But the guy speaks entirely in metaphors. And so like the whole episode is him trying to communicate with it. But it's just like, it's such a weird, surreal First Contact style episode. It's just like, it's one of the more popular ones. But yeah, as I say, you've got your Star Wars one, I got my Star Trek one, because I can't think of a Star Wars game. No, not even Queen's Gambit, and that was an old game anyway. No, I can't think of a Star Wars game that I haven't played that I want to play. I think I've played the major Star Wars games, but these ones have just slipped me by. And Fleet Captains was another one. This one, I think, takes the second place spot because of its component quality and being Gale Force 9 in that. But again, my mate might even have this one as well. I don't know, but this is kind of like an older one. But again, 2011, mostly screen caps. But again, you're doing what you do in Star Trek. So I will take either one if it's shown to me. But yeah, I ain't buying it. That's for certain. Do you know much about... Clearly, you're not as big on Star Trek as you are Star Wars, then.
I mean, no, I never got into Star Trek, to be honest. My parents, they loved it, but I never sat down and watched it with them. So yeah, it's not really been something I started watching Discoveries a bit, but again, I just kind of tailed off. I just, for whatever reason, it just never appealed to me personally.
Why is that? Clearly, some people have got more Star Trek knowledge than I have, because they're mentioning some things that even I don't know what you're on about on those, but hard to say. No question for you, actually. Yogi says, I was going to say, I think this is based on the missus now. It's like, does she hate it because of the Star Wars IP or because of the gameplay? But you didn't say she hated it. Yeah? I
think that was Outer Rim they were talking about.
Or maybe he's responding to someone else. Actually, it might be. I convinced my wife to play it. Play Outer Rim. She's a Star Wars fan and she hated it. And it's like, I like Outer Rim. It's on my shelf. Yeah, it's a solid game. This is quite amusing actually, because this does feel like a space game list.
Yeah,
that's actually not. Yeah, that I didn't intend it to be that way. I mean, I've got a few on my list, and I guarantee my next one is not sci-fi at all. But
same.
I think the idea with it is that a lot of the space games tend to be big, epic monster games and epic monstrosity games. And so they're going to be naturally harder to get to the table because they require either a big investment of cash, investment of time to play, investment of time to rules learn it. And some of them might only be good for conventions because you need 5+ players. I think that's just the nature of the genre. There isn't a lot of simple, good space 3x, 4x games. This is one reason why I really like Empires of the Void 2 again, because that one I can get done in a couple of hours, 2.5 tops. And it feels like it gives me that feel of a good space style game. But I can't think of anything really shorter than that fits the theme, really, that works in a sense. So yeah, it does seem a bit like that. That one mostly. All right, number one. So yes, don't worry, I do not have a space game as my number one, and hopefully you don't either. Otherwise, we'll be just fueling Kabuki Kid's theory.
I know.
Go for it.
Okay, so this is a game that actually, I think it's quite easy to get, and it's fairly reasonably priced usually. But I just never got it, even though I've really, 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 really,
Hmm.
really wanted to play it for a long time. And it's Viking themed, I hope. So
Okay.
Viking themed, and it's a worker placement. You know, uh, it's one of
Oh,
the most loved, I imagine.
I got a
Um,
theory. All right.
but yeah, it's quite medium weight. Anyway, it's Champions of Midgard,
Got it.
and
Yeah.
it's a game like, and I know like it's not that hard to get. Like if I had it, I could play it quite easily, like in an
Well,
evening.
availability doesn't necessarily affect it though, because I mean there are a bunch of games we've mentioned that I can get if I want
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
but there's a difference between it being available and it being practical to get and play.
Yeah, yeah. And like so for me, like so one like everyone says that like it's really great with the expansion. Is it Valhalla? Maybe
Yeah,
is
we'll
it
get onto
Valhalla? The
that.
one that one? Yeah, yeah. So like, I'm kind of okay. I've got to buy two, basically two games. Um, and I don't know. I feel like in a way, like when I really, really, really wanted it, it wasn't available. It was like really expensive. I think because it was so like well loved at that moment in time, and so that kind of put me off. And then it's just never happened, and I've almost accepted that it never will. But it's a game that like I would really, really love to play, but I can't. I wouldn't be surprised if I never ever play it, even though
Somebody's gonna
it's
have this at
insane.
any. Somebody will have this at a
You think,
convention. I
yeah,
mean, this has
yeah,
got to be one of the most likely on there. Sorry, I clicked on the wrong one there. So that one, Cinema had almost had like an
yeah.
aneurysm thinking you were going to say a feast for Odin.
That was close to going on the list, but I thought no, like I
Because
feel like I'd probably have a better chance of playing that than
for some reason that didn't come to
Meeple.
mind actually. Because you said Viking theme, and I thought, right, here's
Mm.
one or two. I thought Blood Rage maybe at first. And then you said worker placement, and for some reason I didn't think of Feast for Odin. I instantly thought Champions of Midgard. I don't know
Mm.
why that one came to my mind first, but both would fit. And although, why would it be a problem if he said it? He wants to play it. That'd be
Yeah,
a good
yeah,
thing,
yeah.
right?
It's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I would love to play Feast for Odin, but again, that would be a really hard one. With current circumstances, for at least next 10 years, I couldn't see myself playing it. But this one, I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. Sometimes I think just something just doesn't happen. I feel like this one just it won't happen. But
Yeah.
I've been an admirer of it from afar for a long, long time. Yeah, and I've only heard really good things about it, with the expansion in particular.
Someone's
But yeah,
combining Blood Rage with Blood
so
Rage miniatures with Champions of Midgard there, and it's like that's not right. Now this one I've only played it I think I've played it twice because I know some local people at my club who have got it. I think I like it, question mark. The thing is, you
okay.
said it yourself when you started off, and I've got the same thing. I played it base game only, and
Hmm.
I had problems with it. Like people were saying, "Oh, this is miles better than Lords of Waterdeep." Well, Lords of Waterdeep is on my shelf down there. This isn't, so I beg to differ.
Hmm.
But the problem was is that I just thought the luck screwed you over too much. If you prep for an
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
expedition and go off, particularly if you go across the water and go to that, and you roll badly, you're done. You've invested
Hmm.
too much in it, and you're not going to do well. But people have said Valhalla, and I think the other one was called Mountains, might have just been called Mountains or something like that. But Valhalla's the main one. People have told me that
Hmm.
I should play it with that because the Valhalla bit mitigates the dice issue.
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
totally willing to believe that, but for some reason, nobody's ever put it in front of me to try it. And
Hmm.
anytime I have seen it, I've always had a different game that I've already pre-booked to play. So it's like I know who it is at a different, not my Portsmouth game club, my Southampton one. I know who it is who has this with the expansions. I just need to not be busy doing something else and ask him nicely,
Hmm.
and I know he would show it to me in a heartbeat. But yeah, it's on my list that I got to try it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Just like I say, it would not be a likely won't play. No, no, no. If I ask, I'll get it played.
Yeah. 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 For sure. Yeah.
Other than
It
that,
just looks brilliant. But that's my
other than
number
that,
one somehow.
as it apparently you need to play Feast of Odin. No,
Oh
you
yeah.
don't. It's a good game. It's in my top 100, but no, you don't need to play it, especially
Okay.
given your circumstances. I think well, actually, I don't know. I think your missus, by the sound of it, would like it, so maybe it is worth a try.
Yeah. I
The
mean, yeah.
problem
She
is,
likes
the problem
like
is,
that
I
kind of
only
like
want
thinky
to.
stuff.
Well, the problem is, I only want to play it with the Norwegians expansion in it because it fixes some of the
Right.
balance issues in the base game. So as much of that, and as I don't know. Did you ever watch an old video I did. I'm not going to bring it up or so, but I had an old video where I talked about that expansion and I made a Norwegians joke in it, but that was quite a while back.
I don't remember the joke. I probably watched the video, but I don't remember the joke.
I think it was in my top 100 or something, or top 10 or something else, and I made a point about saying, like, you know, oh, you don't need. Some people say you don't need the Norwegians expansion to play Feast for Odin or to enjoy it, and I say yes, you do. And the next picture is a picture of Joe and Sunnova in one of their crazy poses
nice
with like the text that flashes on the screen with the window sound effect going. It's like, that's not what I meant, you know. So I literally did it as like a 2-second gag, and they both shared it on social media because they liked it as well. And so I felt like, I just thought I can't not do a joke or link with that there. So I mean, sort of agrees, and like I say, I do like Feast of Odin. I prefer Caverna and Fields of Isle to it, but I would probably say it is probably still my third favorite Uri Rosenberg big Euro. Yeah, because Fields of Isle's my favorite. Caverna would be my second favorite. I don't go for Agricola. I haven't played Aura on the board. Yeah, Feast of Odin probably would be my third favorite. So yeah, I still like it, but it's just some of the paths to victory are just not worth going for in the base set, and then the expansion brought them back up. So that kind of worked.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Yeah, cool.
So you've gone back to Viking/fantasy for your number one. And certainly I have gone to fantasy for my number one, big time, but not Vikings. I'm kind of burnt out on Vikings because everything is Vikings now. There are some IPs that I love like crazy. Like, people know I love superheroes, Marvel and DC like crazy. I do like Star Wars. I'm not a massive Star Wars fanatic, but yes, I do like a lot of Star Wars. I've watched a few of the animated series, and Star Trek, I like some series. But when it comes to fantasy, there is one IP that I go crazy for, like more than those, and that is Lord of the Rings. I do love Lord of the Rings. I love watching the movies, the extended versions, and playing. Like I said, I've got War of the Ring there, and that was originally going to be my number one. So I thought, well, do I have any other Lord of the Rings games that I want to play? There is one. Oh, sorry. I've done the wrong one. No, it's not Gloomhaven. No! Wrong. Error. Bad. No, we don't want that. Not Gloomhaven. No. Erase from history. No. Battle of Five Armies is the actual one. And yeah, this one might have been further down on the list before, but then I thought about it more, and it's like, no, actually, I really do want to try this out, but it's nigh on impossible to find a copy of it at the moment. I don't know anyone who owns it. I don't think my cafe owns it, but it's basically, it takes like what was in War of the Ring, but condenses it down more to the whole skirmish thing. And like the battles between the two. It still has the cool card play system. It's from the same makers. It's from Ares Games. It has it on the box there. But this one basically is a 2-player skirmish battle game with 3 peoples and the enemy fighting along. There's the map on there. But the card system sounds cool. It's Lord of the Rings themed, which means I instantly want to try it, especially if it is a thematic skirmish game. But I like the idea that the way it plays out is that the enemy hordes are just trying to wipe out the good guys, which is like, fine, wipe them out. The good side can't necessarily wipe out the evil side because there's too many of them. But what they're trying to do is survive long enough for the eagles to turn up. Because as much as I love Lord of the Rings, you can't deny that the eagles break the system. But, so the eagles solve everything. But basically, events like what happened in the movie turn up. So, Bjorn the bear turns up and starts helping out eventually. So like the good side starts off on the back foot and gets steadily more powerful as they get towards their victory condition. But the enemy horde is just a constant swarming horde. Now it is out of print, but I'm hoping that maybe one day it will come back. I don't know. I mean, Ares Games are printing out another expansion for War of the Ring. Apparently, I didn't realize they were going to. So that means that they're not only keeping those expansions in print, but I can't see why they wouldn't reprint this at some point. There's enough demand for it. I think the only version I've seen is an obscure old German version that's out there, but I can't buy that because it's not independent. But this was what enticed me first before War of the Ring, because I thought maybe that's like a 3-hour game, long. Not really going to get a chance to play it. This is meant to be something that you could wrap up in 90 minutes. Right. A 90 minutes 2-player skirmish. And it's like, okay, good work. So you've taken one of my favorite fantasy themes, you've condensed down what is supposedly one of the most popular games of all time. You know, it's like high up on Board Game Geek, and you're giving me something which, as much as the original Hobbit trilogy has its issues in terms of the movies, I still enjoy watching them. And yes, it got silly in certain occasions, but I still really enjoy the Battle of Fire Armies actual battle. Yeah, that concept of having all those different types of armies go up against each other was fun to watch. Yeah, so, yep, I'm definitely up for this one. Somebody shows me a copy of this game, I want to play it ASAP.
That sounds cool. Yeah.
And if I do find a copy of it that on second hand, I'm going to make certain I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little bit extreme at the moment. Yeah, I mean, I think it's harder to. In Europe, I have a better chance of getting it than I think if you're in America. So it's.
Really? Right.
I think that's going to be quite over there. So. A lot of people sort of try to justify the Eagles now, and it's like, no. So there are so many ways that the Eagle thing tries to get justified. It's like, look, I love the Lord of the Rings movies, but the Eagle thing is stupid. It's like, I just don't get it. But apparently some of the Americans have got this collector's edition of Battles of Fire-Based Armies. So there must be like, maybe there was some Kickstarter or something I missed. I'm not sure. But if there is a cool version of it, I'd love to have it. So Ares, if you're watching, you know,
yeah.
I wouldn't say no. I'll give War of the Ring a positive review, I promise. You know, it would be great.
There's a negotiation game going on here.
Crazy prices for some of those. So
yeah, that's a lot.
But
that's a lot.
Yeah, that's all of those. We got any others? Yeah, get some. We got about 10 minutes or so, because what the hell? Let's keep it to 2 hours, because all the rest of my streams are and that. Let's get some in the chat. Cool. What are your favorites? Obviously, are there any that we haven't mentioned that from our videos you think, come on, why didn't you mention that? Failing that, let us know yours. So we got Tugge's Pandemic Legacy Season 1 and Through the Ages. Now, I'm quite surprised you haven't played a Pandemic Legacy game. Yeah. I would have thought you and Joe would have got those out of the way ages ago, but fair enough. I mean, what's stopping you is the question. Maybe it's the length, I guess, the campaign length. Through the Ages is cool, actually. I mean, Through the Ages is a good game, but you and I both like Nations, and I still think Nations is better because you can get it to the table a lot easier and still get it played in a night. Problem is, Through the Ages takes like 3 to 4 hours to play a 2-player game of it. It's a bit on the long side. It's quite lengthy, especially if you don't know the rules. But I've got the app on my phone and on my Android tablet. The app kills the board game. It's like one of the best. It's one of the best Eurogame implementations of an app I've seen ever. And I have played Through the Ages on that app and enjoyed the game, but I just can't see. Every time I've seen the board game go on sale, I don't want to buy it, because I think to myself, the app is so much quicker. It's so much better. So, that's the way to do it. And like I say, if you're thinking, Zunover, that you want to get Through the Ages played, just get the app. Easiest way for you to try it, I would say. What else have we got? People making Lord of the Rings quotes now. My number one would be Chaos in the Old World. Yeah, I do not want to sell my copy because I know I'll never see it again if I do, even though it doesn't get played much. But Chaos in the Old World's a good one. Have you heard of that one?
I actually haven't. No, not at all.
You haven't heard of that one?
No.
That's probably not surprising, depending on how long you've been gaming for, because it came out a long time ago.
Now.
Like, you should have heard of it, I would have thought, but it came out about like 2009, and is it load up there? Whoop, that one. Not heard of it?
I probably See, I mean, like, I guess maybe I would have. It's definitely doesn't suit my taste. I guess looking at it.
Yeah, you can tell if you're into. It's based on Warhammer 40, like Warhammer Fantasy. So so it's got the gritty side of it, but it's a really cool area control game with asymmetrical sides. I mean, Blood Rage was trying to, I think, to be a kind of expanded version of this. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Oh no, actually no, that was Cthulhu Wars. Cthulhu Wars was trying to do that. I've not played Cthulhu Wars. I'd like to try it, I guess, but honestly, I think I'd prefer this. Like theme wise and that, but it's just really cool. Like, every faction plays very differently. They've each got their own way of scoring points. Like, the Khorne are obviously like trying to beat everyone up like crazy. The Nurgle are trying to sort of area control and plague the area. The magic users have got funky cards. I don't know what kind of edition that was. That looks like a first printing or something, but it's been several editions of it. But this is a solid one. But I can imagine that because it's out of print in Fantasy Flight no longer have the Warhammer license, that this is going to be a tricky one for anybody to get played. Like, it's just not going to happen. What else have we got here? I played it with me. I have Season 1. Play it on Steam. That's through the ages. Talisman. Don't know why you should be desperate to play Talisman. So, I mean, unless you want to spend 8 hours of your convention just rolling dice and roll and move, we played it as kids. It's got a nostalgic connection, but even we have to admit that Talisman is not a good design game. So it's like,
is it not?
Well, it's basically it's an old game. It's like 80s, 90s, I think, or something like that. But it's when roll and move was a mechanic. So, you roll and move and go around this outer ring of stuff like in fantasy style setting, like I'm the cleric and the monk. And you're all trying to get to the center, but you have to first get from the outer ring to this middle ring and then to the inner ring, assuming that doesn't send you back. But in order to get to those rings, you've got to defeat adversaries, but you can't do that without gearing up first. And this is all done by roll and move. So it's a massive 8-hour luck fest. But it's got the theme and it's got nostalgic sentimentality for me, I'll say. But that is it. I would not want to play it now. It's just not going to happen. Cloudspire. I have not played that one at all. I would try it, but it looks very convoluted and messy. And the thing is, after reviewing Too Many Bones, I'm not as keen on trying Cloudspire now. Because, I mean, Too Many Bones has got a fair amount going for it. But I didn't like a lot of stuff in Too Many Bones. And I'm just worried that Cloudspire will just be, as much as it looks cool, repeat some of those issues. Or it would just be another money sink that I don't want to get involved with. I mean, I've heard good things. But I feel it's maybe the Too Many Bones audience that are going mad for this. So who knows? I mean, I would try it, obviously, but it's just not one that I'm looking forward to. What have we got there? More stuff to do with Talisman, 1981. Tim. Yep, agree with you on Twilight Imperium and Anachrony. Yeah, that makes sense. Where's that? Oh, God, yeah.
Look at the size of that.
The giant box. Which I played solo recently because I had to do the Fractures of Time burn on the base game video, and it's like, oh, blimey, you're trying to learn all those rules again. Awesome game, but yeah, it was a bit of a mind sink, and I can imagine that that's not something that you're just gonna buy normally. Apparently, Bexy Beast will play Cloudspire, but I'll have to like try and get him in the same location in order to do it. Any others? Any honorable mentions? Something I wouldn't mind finding actually, because. What were some of yours while I'm finding my list?
Okay. I had Empires of the Void 2, which I mentioned.
Makes sense, yeah.
Rising Sun, which you mentioned as well earlier on. Again, it's like a big kind of epic game. I'd have to buy it. It's a lot of money. But I'm kind of hoping that I will play that. There's more chance of me playing that. Fury of Dracula 4th edition.
Yeah, any edition, yeah.
Yeah, I love like hidden movement. I just really do, and so that sounds really cool. Got Sleeping Gods, but I'm believing that I'm going to get to play that at some point.
That'd be a cool one to do. Hello, Judy. You're, as like I say, time differences, time zones, and that a little late, but hopefully you'll enjoy. Well, hopefully you'll enjoy the video once it goes up, and I've got the timestamps sorted. But Fury of Dracula would make sense. Yeah, that would because that's going to require like a good 2 to 3 hours to play, and if you don't know what you're doing as Dracula, you're going to die a lot. So it's kind of that. But I've got quite a few here. I'm looking at this. How many were there on this? Oh no, it does count. So let's see. I wrote down 26 games, and 10 of them are on the list. So there's like 16 others. One of them being War of the Rings. So there's at least 15 others that I short listed. So I mean, there was. To a lighter extent, like this would have been like the very bottom. Clans of Caledonia, not played it. I would try it. People say it's good, but the thing is, the fact that it just looks like Terra Mystica with a different theme puts me off it. I think I dismissed it after I wrote it. Clank Legacy, not the biggest fan of Clank, but the Legacy version sounds better. Like maybe the dragon would actually. The dragon actually. Well, does the dragon do anything in it? That's the thing. Because in normal Clank, the dragon is useless.
I mean, we're only 2 games in, and so far, no. But There's just it's so rich, and like there's just so much going on all the time. It's we're loving it. Like the people I'm playing it with, they're like, I love this game. As we're playing it, like just you kind of can't help but say like, this is such a good game. This is so fun. Like there's just so much going on all the time. You know.
Yeah,
It's,
I mean, the people at my local, the people who own my local cafe had this and played it with their own select group or so, because they know I'm not the biggest fan of the normal Clank. But if they did want to play Legacy again, I'd try it. I'd try it because I haven't, had it there. Judy's mentioned Cerebria, which makes sense. The other, I don't know if you've heard of that one, big Mind Clash game. Yeah, I mean, I can understand that one. I love it, but especially because it's best played 2v2, that kind of restricts it as well. I mean, I can play it 1v1, or with the expansion, you can do free player and obviously solo. But yeah, when you're trying to do it normally, it's a bit of a problem in the sense. But yeah, that could work. And no, I am not dreaming of where have we got? I'm not. Yeah, I do not want the Concordia expansions, nor do I want 18x include stupid train game here or something. It's like no, it's like train games are not on my list. Let's have Oran Labora, I mentioned before. Uzi Rosenberg one, just never had a chance to play it. Quest for El Dorado, the lightweight deck building game I've heard good things about. I just don't know if I can be bothered to buy it myself, but I don't know anybody else who has it. Horrified, I don't know if I would ever really play it, but I hear good things.
That's a game I'd like to play for sure. I'm hoping I'll play that at some point.
We got 1960 Making of the President. It was a 2-player back and forth game about the presidential election, Nixon and that. And not normally the theme I desperately go for, but I've got Founding Fathers in the other room, which is like the decoration history bit. And I really like that game. And I know they're not similar in how they work, but I don't know. The theme of this one appeals to me like more than something like, say, Twilight Struggle. So it should be cool on that. We'll be wrapping up soon, but yeah, good night to Cineva. Thank you for watching. Hopefully it didn't distract you too much from Feudum, because I can imagine no way how you concentrate on both. But it's been good to have you both interacting, and like I say, we got to get together for another vid, because I know we got to do repeats. So we got Fox in the Forest, but I know I'll get that played. My cafe has it. All I got to do is grab it. Shakespeare, Euro game about
that was going to be on my list actually.
Setting up a Shakespeare play. It sounds good on the theme, so I would certainly try it. Myrmes was a weird one about making an ant colony. The theme sounds cool, but that's about as much as I know. Star Trek Fleet Captain's already mentioned. Super Motherload, a obscure deck builder that came out a while back and then just sort of disappeared. People who have played it said it was good, but that's all I know. And then the rest of these are kind of ones that I reckon... Oh no, 2 of these I probably will play at some point, but In the Hall of the Mountain King and Beyond the Sun, recent ones. The Mountain King, I don't know anyone else who has it, and I just don't feel like buying it myself, but people say I'll like it. Beyond the Sun, the technology thing sounds cool, but it just looks like a dog's dinner and it's expensive, so it puts me off wanting to buy it, but I would play it, but people have liked it.
Lots of people like it,
But 2 other that nearly made the list, actually. Heroes of Land, Air and Sea. Big fantasy, sort of almost World of Warcraft style, like big butch game. Massively expensive, probably rules convoluted like crazy. Roy Kennedy won't shut up about it, but
he loves it.
But I would certainly want to try it. It almost made the list. This could be like an 11 or 12. And alongside that would also be Mechs versus Minions, because I don't want to buy it. It's not easiest to get hold of, I don't think, anyway. And maybe you can get it from Riot Games Direct, I don't know. But programming's not usually my style of game, so I don't know if I would enjoy it. But just to see it in front of me would be, pretty good just for how well produced it is. But yeah, there was quite a few I wrote down on there. Righty, so 2 hours down. I think that's a good time to start wrapping things up. So absolutely crazy. But as I say... got them all done, all worked out in the end. So
hopefully we get to play most of them at some point.
Well, I mean, if we meet up at a convention, I'm sure we'll actually be able to play quite a few of them and that. But like I say, cheers for this one. Your idea for this one, and people were quite keen to see how this one played out. So I reckon that this is going to get quite a few views after the stream or so, because people have been sort of going, oh, that's a nice topic we can go for. And as I say, not often I can write down 25 possibilities before I even start shortening it down. So there was quite a few on there. But by all means, check out Nathan on the Cinemeeple's channel. That's gone up since this morning. I know that for a fact. But like I say, let's get more on there. I was actually really touched after last week's stream. You know, I had the nerd shelves on air, and like before we started, it was like 964, I think was their subscriber count. It went up by about 10 or 20 during the stream, and then the day at the morning after, they hit the 1,000.
Oh, it's amazing.
Like, I'm not trying to take full credit for anything or anything like that, but it's just like it was just nice that between that period they actually managed to get to 1,000. So that was definitely worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I say, we'll see how quickly we can get you to 1,000. So
that'd be cool, yeah. But if anyone likes the videos, and that's the most important thing, really, isn't it? Like, I'm hoping that just if you watch it, people enjoy it, you know, and if they don't, that's okay as well.
You've got the passion in the videos, and you've certainly got the camera skills, because as I say, some of those rapid reviews and that you do are shot very well. So I think that's the sort of stuff will get noticed. So yeah, like I say, I haven't got the camera skills to do that. Hence, I just point it at me. I try to make it up for like in the editing room as opposed to on the camera itself in terms of what I can contribute to it. But you know, especially being by myself.
Experience before. I'd never filmed anything before like 7 months ago. So it's been a journey of trying to figure everything out. So I'm pleased with how it's kind of going.
Are you on Instagram?
I am. I'm not very good with social media kind of stuff, really. Well, I'm on there. But...
I don't mean with social media, but did you watch my stream I did with Board Game Perspective?
I don't think so. The two guys, the couple.
Yeah, it was a couple. We did top 10 beautiful games.
Yes.
Or something like that. Maybe have a chat with them. I don't know. They're not on Twitter, I think, but they are prominent on Instagram, and they have got a small YouTube channel again. So yeah, but they're really nice couple, and that was a good list to do as well.
Really
but sorry, mind blanked with the name. But like I say, the guy in there is very good with the camera as well. Like they put up some really good Instagram photos, but he also does like some of the panning shots and stuff like that for the videos that they do. Have a watch of some of their stuff, and whether that's an inspiration in some sense, but maybe like because you're doing a similar style in that, I don't know, you two might be able to sort of chat a bit or share thoughts and tips or something, because as I say, both of you are doing that kind of style. You know, that looks professional enough, and you know, comparing it to yours, he's the one that first comes to mind. So I have to say,
cool.
But all right, thanks to you guys for turning up. So everybody's been pretty good in the chat. It's been quite a good social chat. The stakes and all Star Wars, Star Trek mix-ups, and Lord knows what else. It's like there's certainly going to be some thoughts after. That'll be but I mean,
YouTube's like it can be a scary place. Like the comments, man. But
but it's all jest. Everybody here like rags on me if I make any mistake. Like I say, my Gloomhaven mess up earlier was already that one's gonna stick with me for a bit. It's like, here's my fantasy was like, no, not Gloom.
That was brilliant.
So in the heat of trying to click on the right buttons and that. But yep, thanks everybody for turning up. If you're watching this after the fact, then that's great. You don't have to watch these live, but we love engaging with you in these. That's why I love doing these every week. It's 2 hours of good, solid fun for as long as my voice can last. And obviously I get to meet lots of new people. As I say, amount of, of all these collaborations I've done, to my knowledge, I think Board Gaming Ramblings are the only people who I've met. Oh, and probably Hexy Beast, actually. Yeah, those two. The only people I've met in person before doing the collaboration.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, no, actually, no. Well, tell a lie. Mark Dainty, I would have met. I'm sure I've met him at a convention beforehand. Not board gaming. So, those three, but I mean, every American that I collaborate with, Board Game Perspective, Nerd Shelves and all that, I've never met them in person because obviously it's hard to get across unless they're at Essen. I'm hardly going to see them. So it's not that. And even, yourself, I've got Alex next week, Gem and Biscuits for a list. I can't remember the last time I'd spoken to him. It's been a good way just to catch up with a few content creators, if anything else.
Yeah, definitely.
So it should be good. So next week, this one's a Patreon list we're doing next week, which was, top 10 games we're looking forward to playing post-COVID. So, which 10 games are we itching to get to the table once we can get to a cafe and, sort them out. And yes, people are going to be starting to mix up IPs like crazy just to get a rise out of all these people. So that's all good. So let's wrap it up. Take care, everybody. Remember, it's only a game.
Guys.
For that, take care. Bye-bye.